My Discord, not yours. Discord, not yours. All right. Here we are. Don't forget, if you want to stay inside of Twitch chat, I'm going to have it open. I will be reading Twitch chat along with YouTube chat while I stream the entire time. So if you want to stay in Twitch chat, that's perfectly fine. All right, I gotta swap to live chat so that way I can view all messages. Cool, cool, cool. All right, here we go.
I'll be more candid now, I guess, about stuff relating to Fuentes. The thing that needs to happen, in my opinion, to take apart somebody's view of the world, is they have to be humanized. They have to be. Okay? You have to understand that. That's an incredibly important thing to understand. Because given the right set of circumstances, you have your fans that will very rigidly defend you in my community, and then you go into the subreddit and you make posts and you sway the way that people think about things.
But I cannot control what you say.
I never said you. Hold on. I never. Hold on. Stop.
You
Why are you saying this? You just.
Up the bitrate, baby. It's YouTube time now. Oh shit! I probably could have. Can I up the bitrate while I'm streaming?
No, stop. I didn't say ever that you control what I say. What we were both just talking about is can we put.
Talking when I say you're.
No, that's not the scale. That's not the scale. Okay.
I liked. Oh yeah. Sorry. I like to do this statement. Whenever I YouTube stream, please like the video. And I'm not just saying that to just say that or whatever. It genuinely helps people to be able to find this stream who are not endemic to my audience. For anybody, I'm sure other people have similar experiences. I'll be randomly browsing YouTube or whatever, doing my normal thing, going about watching, I don't know, ASMR videos or something. Yes, I'm an ASMR watcher. And I will get randomly thrown a live stream of some game I've never heard of somebody streaming. And the reason why I believe that is because there's high engagement from the chat, people chatting, or people liking the video, commenting, and stuff like that. Okay? So I like to make calls for people to like the video, potentially talk and chat, because if you do, it helps that algorithm to be able to push me to people who would otherwise not watch my stream. Host DGG's hottest Chad? I don't think hosting makes much sense when I'm doing this.
We're gonna do a meme, but then I think I've banned. I think I've the Fuentes bridge is perma burning, I guess, or maybe not, but who knows. I need to do what I need to do on my side of the internet, and I don't think anybody understands it. Definitely not Max. Max is like the last person in the world that can be involved in the stuff that I do. I think when he wanted to have these conversations relating to the Nazi stuff, I think I should have just not had those conversations publicly ever with him.
Thank you. Like 30 of you liked the stream after I made the call out for that. So thank you to the 30 people who liked the stream. I really do appreciate it.
Because he had nothing of value to say to me on that matter, and everything that he's had to say afterwards has been entirely worthless. Not only worthless, but it's been poisoning like parts of my community and like the overall discourse related to anything that is going on. So the problem, okay, I've talked with Supreme a little bit offline about this. I'll be more candid now, I guess, about stuff relating to Fuentes, okay? So actually, I don't actually care. I'll just be open about everything related to Fuentes now, because I don't know if that whole thing is dead. Okay.
Move
so
cam?
here's some.
Oh shit, you're right. I have my cam over him.
Here's just some stuff. Okay. Sanitizing Nick Fuentes would be bad. I agree to that. I did not sanitize Nick Fuentes. Demonizing Nick Fuentes is also bad. I did not demonize Nick Fuentes. The thing that needs to happen, in my opinion, to take apart somebody's view of the world is they have to be humanized. They have to be. People mistake the idea of humanizing somebody with sanitizing somebody. And I didn't realize this until halfway through my interactions with Nick because of emails that I'd gotten from Nick's fans. So The problem with sanitizing somebody, what does sanitizing mean? Sanitizing means that you take somebody and you make their views seem better than they actually are. Never done that with Nick in my entire life.
It's what Sneeko does with Nick Fuentes. That's a good example, I think, of sanitizing it.
If you think I have, you're wrong. You just haven't watched enough conversations. However, the opposite of sanitizing somebody's views is not holding their feet to the fire or holding them accountable. The opposite is demonizing somebody. This is a heads up. Okay, so sanitizing somebody's views are bad because when you do that, you give people the impression that they're not as radical as they actually are, or that they are just that they're not as radical as they actually are. Like, oh, well, this is a normal thing, or this isn't that extreme, or blah, 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 right? The problem with a demonization of somebody, though, which is what MrGirl wants to do, ironically enough, saying, and I know he's going to have like 50 million. He's like, well, I'm not talking about demonizing them. I'm just thinking about he'll have like a way to MrGirl his way out of the conversation, but I'm not interested in playing the word games right now. I'm just being frank, right? The problem with demonizing somebody, it's the same issue when you think about Nazis, okay? Like, Nazis are people that are fundamentally evil, and I could never be a Nazi, and I think that, like, there's just something wrong with all of their brains, okay? That's not true, okay? Every Nazi was a human being, and every human being
MrGirl
has
is
the
right.
potential
I'm
to be a
tired of
Nazi.
acting like he's
You have to
not.
understand that. That's an incredibly important thing to understand. Because given the right set of circumstances, you've got things like the Milgram experiment that, show how many people will be pushed to deliver a 300-volt shock to somebody on the other end, even when they've stopped responding, okay? And there's a whole bunch of other, like, social psych experiments that show that people can, like, defer commands to people, that people can be conditioned to do crazy things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People in certain environments can be made to do things that seem inhuman just because of the environments they're in. It's not even something, I don't even care to argue that. It's just like it's a fact of the matter. So demonizing somebody is not good because you make it seem like those particular political beliefs can only be held by a demon.
True.
Only an inhuman person could ever believe something
I
like
feel like this was kind of MrGirl's point about pedophilia, though, as well. Not to say he's stealing from it, but, like, this is a similar take that MrGirl gave about pedophilia that I think a lot of people agree with MrGirl on, where it's like, if we demonize pedophiles, we make it seem like pedophiles are not, like, they can't just be like your cousin or your brother or your sister or your aunt or something, when they absolutely could be. They 100% can and could be. Often you don't really know who the fuck that is. Isn't it that, like, most pedophiles prey on people that they have very close proximity to, usually family and shit. They're usually, like, within the family unit. And that's kind of to speak to the kind of stealth, I guess, for lack of a better term, that these people can portray, because everyone thinks that they're, like, walking around as sludge monsters and they're obvious to spot and shit. It's not always the case.
racism or sexism or homophobiaism or deadbeatism, right? Only a crazy person can believe that, okay? So
Sexual assault, I
my
heard it
goal
was
is not
close
to
people.
sanitize.
That's what I've heard
Fighting
as
against
well.
people that are demonizing. My goal is to
Also,
humanize.
Vicky 3
That
in
actually
2
is my
days.
goal.
Yep, I'm gonna be
I do
playing
want people
that.
to see Fuentes as a normal human being who eats chicken and waffles and can hang out with people and blah, 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 blah. Because it's important to, one, recognize in other people that plenty of people can hold these types of beliefs, and two, recognize that you at some point in your life can hold those types of beliefs.
Yes,
Probably
that's,
would only take two.
I think that's the really important thing, is recognize that you, and especially people around you that you're even friends with, can be susceptible to this kind of behavior. Because if you realize how human you are to being able to be susceptible to this kind of rhetoric, it allows you not only to, just engage with reality, because that's true, but it allows you to be able to make arguments, develop your thought processes accordingly, right? In order to avoid these kinds of pitfalls. Not only like logical pitfalls that allow you to navigate life easier because it's in a more rational and coherent way, but also so that way you can navigate life in a way that avoids contradiction from issues like this. Because you see plenty of people that'll say, like, fuck Nick Fuentes, he believes in trash, like, whatever, but, like, also we should have black ethno states. Like, so you have no idea why you hate Nick Fuentes then. You just don't like that he's white. Like, that's your problem, is that The nigga's white.
3 bad friends, 2 or 3 weeks to start to significantly shift your opinions on things just through
Glass chair, you're on thin ice.
humor, and you don't realize it. Most people think they'd be impervious to it. You're not. I don't even know if I would be. I think if I had the right set of friends, I might find myself thinking weird things in a couple weeks if we said certain jokes or did certain things after a period of time. Okay? Most of the positive emails.
I've never had the chance to ask this, but I've always wanted to get one of those kill-all pedos people and ask them if they'd shoot both their parents if they failed a pedophile test. That is a crazy thing to ask. That sounds like you're about to get in a fight, bro. It sounds like that person would be the type of person probably to potentially exchange fisticuffs.
That I received from, okay, let me back up one more step. When I'm looking at like okay, 2 things clicked for me a little bit ago. One had to do with mass shooters, and the other had to do with like the gripper community. And
waffles just taste better. Better
when
texture.
I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, who are these people? Why did they believe the things they do? What kind of community is it? When I don't remember. I don't know if I've said this on stream or this has just been in private chats. I think this has just been in private chat so far. When
Wicked Supreme,
when
you're
people
here.
think
What's
of
up,
the
brother?
gripper community,
He shouted you out earlier.
people will look at the gripper community and think that like it's this highly radical group of people that log into chat getting marching orders from Fuentes so that they can like gear up, go prepare with like their white nationalist friends for the incoming revolution, get ready to stage a secondary January 6th event, boom, 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 boom. This is like what a gripper is, okay? Number 1 threat to democracy, peace, freedom, and security of the United States. I think that what a gripper actually is I think that there's like a collection of people that are like pretty lonely, don't have very many friends, don't feel like there's many people in society that are like speaking at them, and they kind of have like a community where they feel like they can go and hang out, and they have like their racist memes, but it's like a place where basically you go, you type, you know, Nick is funny, you laugh with him, you laugh with your fellow community members. Yeah, you make a lot of racist and anti-Semitic jokes, but it's like your community. It's like your place on the internet that you feel like you belong, and it's the only place in the community that like can understand you or hear you out. And that's like the lens that I view the gripper people through. I don't think that it's through some hyper-radicalized extremist military fascist faction ready to conduct World War III, like the second
Waffles
Revolutionary
plus
War.
ice cream or God tier? I've actually never
pretty
had it.
lonely dudes, not even all white really, but just like a group of like pretty lonely young Zoomer men that kind of like feel lost, and Nick is kind of like this charismatic voice that carries them through the darkness essentially. So with that in mind, so there are a couple of goals, or things that I have when it comes to dealing with Nick. So one is trying to be relentlessly good faith to show that there are people that will not only like listen to you, but people that like will even let you make a few mistakes and like still try to like advocate for you in your corner, which I did relentlessly with Nick. Even if it didn't ultimately work on him, I got a lot of
bruh. Is everyone with shit views people who are lonely, groypers, incels, etc.? I'm just gonna tell you, everybody's lonely, bro. Listen, I'm just gonna say this for a moment because it's gonna sound like a bragging thing or whatever, but I want to make a point out of it, and I do, because I don't want to sell a fake version of myself, and especially one that garners sympathy. I am not a lonely person, but I recognize, in not being a lonely person, exactly how many people are fucking lonely, and it feels like goddamn everyone is lonely. But people handle it in different ways by going to different in-groups. I'm sure Steven would say the same thing about like Hassan fans and communists who are lonely, that want to find a community of people that accept them the way that they are and just kind of radicalize into the fucking mess that they are. And so, yeah, I think just most people are lonely. Can you be louder? What, am I too quiet?
The emails that I got, the words that I got, so what people I think are looking for is like, wow, Destiny, you de-radicalized me, and now I'm a social democrat.
Laser, this clip is to show that Adam from No Jumper said that without Destiny kind of leading the charge to showing that Nick Fuentes was capable of being platformed, which honestly, in further context, looks a little bit different than I feel like people are taking it. Adams essentially said, without Destiny leading the charge and being able to display that Nick Fuentes can be platformed, he would not have platformed Nick Fuentes, which people are interpreting as saying that Destiny showed that Nick Fuentes wasn't that bad and that he can be platformed. But based on the surrounding context, I think it is another narrative. I'm not saying that this should be the most reasonable, but another reasonable narrative is actually what Adam means there, is that he won't get banned on YouTube for having Nick Fuentes on, and his evidence for that is Steven streaming with him. I think that is another reasonable and fair interpretation of that.
Crowd, and I love trans people and blah 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 blah.
Didn't No Jumper's community fully reject Nick? I heard he had some pushback for it.
That wasn't the type of messages that I normally got. Usually what it was these were like the interesting emails to me. It was people basically saying like, I used to see Nick as this like unassailable god figure who was kind of like the leader of my movement online, and when I see you guys hanging in real life, what I realized is that Nick is kind of just like a nerdy normal dude, like kind of like me, and it was really interesting to like see him in that perspective. That basically like seeing that he's kind of like an awkward funny dude in real life just like changed the way that they kind of viewed Nick. It made him seem a lot less untouchable as like a figure, and that maybe he wasn't like this kind of like untouchable god person that they'd seen on stream a lot. So I think a lot of the actions that people saw me take in terms of like, oh my god, you're humanizing Nick, that's horrible. I think that humanizing him in front of his audience is good because I don't think they view him as a human. A lot of the people see him as almost like a deity, like this figure that like is like this god emperor that's like leading them through the darkness, the shepherd leading the sheep, and blah blah blah. I think showing him in a more human light, where it's like, look, this is like a normal dude. He laughs, he's kind of awkward, blah blah blah, is like the first step towards kind of like moving people in this idea of like, okay, we shouldn't worship people online, and this guy isn't like a perfect unattackable god. And then it also makes me a bit more endearing to them ideally as well, because I'm the one that's like kind of facilitating this process. The problem is that one, that process is really hard to do in the open, because I can't say like, I understand you guys are all lonely fucking losers, so let me be nice to you, because it sounds weird and condescending. But two, if I don't say that, I've got these weird games being played in the background where people like MrGirl or a lot of you guys are acting like the stakes are like the end of the fucking world if like you don't do this actually perfectly. Like, you're playing a really risky fucking game here. You're like, you're gonna fuck up. Like, if you fuck up, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, and there is nothing to fuck up here. Not to be rude towards Nick, but the reality is that I'm in the best position of my life to practice this type of conversation, because Fuentes has a hardcore social ceiling on where he can ever go to. He's never growing on me on Twitter. He's never growing on me off of like YouTube subs. He's never like going back on Twitch. Like, the guy's vertical ascent is like dead on arrival. Like, there's nowhere for him to go. He can't go up. So like the risk, even if I fumble and fuck up everything.
I don't agree with this. I don't think this is true, and I think that the Adam No Jumper conversation, I think, is even potentially his. I don't know if his interactions with Sneeko were facilitated by Destiny, but I know he's had interactions with Sneeko while Destiny was present. I don't know if the first time they were introduced was on Destiny's stream, or that's how Sneeko was made aware of Nick Fuentes' presence. I think that I think it is 100% possible that Destiny can have an effect on Nick Fuentes' possible popularity, where people can interpret that they could have him on their channels and not like have it be unethical, that they could have Nick Fuentes on and like win a debate or whatever. Because I think a reality that Destiny has to face is and this isn't to blow smoke up his ass, but this is just kind of the general territory for being good at what you do. He makes things look easy. I think that's a really big issue, is that he can kind of make things look easy. It looks like he has the responses in his head. They feel nice when they come out in response to what he says and shit. And so it can make people be more confident in their ability to engage with him than they otherwise might not if they weren't looking at him. This isn't to say that he should stop all activity, cease all activity with Nick Fuentes right now. I don't think I think what he's doing with Nick Fuentes is fine so far as what I've seen. I really want to hear MrGirl's perspective on it, though, because he's very much in the opposite camp. But of the information I've seen so far, I think it's fine. But I disagree with the idea that there is no way at all that any reasonable person could interpret that Nick Fuentes could benefit from his relationship with Destiny. I don't think that's true.
the risk isn't really there in terms of like Nick exploding into some figure. He's not gonna be the next president of the United States. He's not, like, his political future is fairly dead unless he radically changes his platform. There is no risk there. Now, I can't say this publicly in the past because it makes it look like I'm kind of like shitting all over and blah 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 blah. But it's why there's only a wave of fascist legislation in motion. No biggie, Destiny. Lost Highway, I'm permabanning you from my channel. I just want you to know that I know for a fact that if I were to pull you into my Discord right now and ask you to define fascism, you would stumble over yourself like the disgusting fucking loser you are, okay? Go back to your college campus, go suck off your fucking sociology professor, get the fuck out of here, you loser fuck. And make sure that after you swallow their cum, you use the they, them pronouns that I'm sure that they refer to themselves as, okay? You fucking loser, get the fuck out of my chat.
Jesus Christ.
When I,
Jesus.
Yeah, so ultimately, the goal was...
Jesus Christ, man, that was, that was not good.
Look, Fuentes is like a human dude. We're chill. We're cool. Everything is fine. This is a normal human being. Like, you can have normal human being conversations with this person. You don't have to be like, feel like you're lonely and so like.
Did he grow from no jumper though? It's not about necessarily. Well, I don't know, but it's not necessarily just about growth. I've talked about this before. It was my part of my response about JXE, saying that they got no growth from Hassan. You need to talk about intangibles. Intangibles is very important. And what am I talking about? You may not receive a viewership bump. You may not receive subs. You may not receive donos. But you might receive good word of mouth or just acknowledgement of your existence as that guy. All right? And so that is something that is very important. That's just completely intangible. I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes did get that. What I'm saying is that that's absolutely possible. That people could have, potentially similar to Adam, people could have saw the No Jumper interview and gone, okay, so it actually is safe to platform Nick Fuentes, and these people could be fucking idiots and not know how the hell to navigate a conversation with Nick Fuentes, and they have him on. And then he could get popular from that, or his ideas could get spread from that, and so on and so forth. That could happen. All of these things are possible. I want people to know.
To see some level of integration with like gripper people.
So it's sanitized, possibly. I would say this. So this is what I would say. Destiny himself has not sanitized Nick Fuentes. However, other people and their interpretation of Nick Fuentes' interactions with Destiny could sanitize him. Do you understand? That, like, Destiny could do a really good job debating Nick Fuentes, dismantling his points, but other people can misunderstand, misinterpret this, and then end up with the conclusion that Nick Fuentes ain't that bad, or that Nick Fuentes is, capable of being platformed and realistically debated by them in a way that would dismantle his opinions so we can have him on a podcast. Yeah, like Ethan Klein or something. I don't think he'll have him on his podcast. God, that would be terrible. I would hope somebody pulls the plug on his internet at that point and he can't stream or record or whatever. But, assuming that happened, right? He could be like, yeah, I've talked about politics before. I know what I'm doing. I could combat somebody like Nick Fuentes. That could be something that happens. Because Destiny might make it look easy. All of these things are possible. A misinterpretation of material reality can happen as a result of Destiny engaging with Nick Fuentes. That's all possible. Bro, it's 8 a.m. Nigga, not for me.
Into my chat in non-toxic ways. So like the Kai Clips guy is actually like fairly funny. And generally when he's in my chat, he's not acting like fucking insane. He's not being like a crazy griper, blah, blah, blah. And there are a few people, some of you don't know about, that are like participating in my community and in my chat. And then everybody's looking like, oh God, the griper, blah, 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 take over. That's good. I welcome that. I want more like of those far right people hanging out of my chat because one, I know they're not going to be as extreme here. Two, they're going to be exposed to jokes, humors, and ways of socializing that aren't as like politically extreme. And three, fuck, there was a third one. Oh fuck, I just forgot. I just slipped my mind. I just read something else in chat that triggered me and I didn't ban the person. I should have banned the person. Whatever. Those 2 points are enough. Yeah, getting them out of their communities into my chats and everything. It gives them like other communities to like be a part of and show that like,
I mean, I feel like the obvious three is that they get exposed to more of Destiny's content, potentially giving them a good explanation for some of the things that they might have believed or understood only Nick Fuentes' narrative. I feel like that's a valid reason, right? finding a different community, finding a different sense of community, and also having a separate perspective flushed out a little bit more on and a separate way of looking at the world entirely that can give them, in my opinion, a more holistic narrative for how all of the world can work. I think obviously, but I mean, I'm going to say Destiny's perspective on how the world works and his explanations are better come to the conclusions and understandings that would be necessary to get where we are today, as well as have better predictive capabilities for the future. I think if you use Destiny's models, you're going to have better predictive power than Nick Fuentes' models, which is a very large part of my standard for whether or not you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Crazy, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I think all of that like was positive. That was kind of like the idea or the goal, is to like that kind of like relentless positivity. But this idea of like Fuentes was sanitized by Steven and the DGG versus Greiber conversion zero-sum game idea was wrong and irrelevant. MrGirl doesn't know how to have these conversations. He doesn't know how to talk to people that disagree with him in almost any way whatsoever. He has a really big problem understanding any other point of view besides his own. And when confronted with evidence or logics that show that he might be incorrect, he has self-reinforcing ways of making it so he never has to listen to any of that critique. So he is the worst type of person to have these types of conversations, and probably one of the last people's criticism that I cared to have in my head regarding these conversations. The problem with Fuentes was never that he was sanitized. The problem with Fuentes is that he's been demonized for so long that people don't view his beliefs that a human being can have. There must be like a video game or like the Pirates of the Caribbean, where like in order to destroy somebody, you have to humanize them first. My goal isn't to destroy Fuentes. I just want to show that like all of us are people at the end of the day. Like people can have like different beliefs and opinions, and some might even be really fucked up. But it's important to understand that at the end of the day, it's all just normal people. There's nothing extra special about Fuentes. The dude's like fucking 23 years old. The problem is that people can't argue against what he believes. Sure, but like let's see like what happened. Okay. I was right. Fuentes was sent by Steven. The zero-sum game, blah, 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 was irrelevant. What?
Oh, hold on. I want to make a statement. Part of the reason why people can't argue against some of these points is because they believe that they are held by demons, and that demonization that, is being discussed here. I won't even talk about demons shit, because the demonization shit. It's just seen as a shutdown to the conversation, so people haven't even been exposed to proper responses. So because it's like when you say something like race mixing is bad, like Nick Fuentes believes, people don't have a response to that because they aren't socially required to have a response to that. It's part of the reason why I really don't like Hassan, Ethan Clay in the greater BreadTube online left community. Their position about being very anti-debate, bro, because I think they have a lot of positions that they do not properly combat in any kind of a way, because they refuse to have conversations that are challenging. I think it is a very, very big problem where you have individuals that will, like in certain responses to like Fresh and Fit and shit, where people will say, you're like misogynistic. We've seen this a lot on Fresh and Fit. You're misogynistic. And then they'll be like, okay, how? And they shut down. Because we're very used to just kind of feeling out misogyny and just saying, you're misogynistic, and no explanation is needed for why that might be the case, for why it's bad. No explanation is needed. It's just the tag. That's inadequate. You should be ashamed of yourself if you do something like that. I think that is a shameful display to just tack on some claim of bigot, not support it, and not provide a valid reason why it's bad. You should be able to do that if you're going to use the word. If you don't want to use the word, if you don't want to use the word, so be it. Let it ride. Godspeed. I think it's an important word to be able to use. I think it's an important word to be able to know how to use appropriately. So that's part of the reason why I believe what I do, and I agree with Steven on this one.
Happened on when he went on to No Jumper? Like, did he magically turn the entire audience into Nazis? Like, it didn't happen. The whole audience like rebelled against him. Like all of them hated the fuck out of everything that he said, right? Like it's not like he went and all of a sudden like, oh my god, No Jumper's audience are like full fucking Nazis now. No, the people fucking hated him. It was insane. Even without Adam being like the best type of platformer.
So this is where I'll push back against Destiny. We don't have the info. Nobody could have the info. We're not going to pull all the people or whatever. Do we have good information to be able to show that there was a significant backlash against Nick Fuentes? Absolutely. We have significant evidence to show that there was a fervent push against Adam and others on that panel for not pushing back hard enough, for even having him on in the first place. So there was significant community pushback. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't people inside of the community that might have been convinced, that might have been more open to the way that this guy is thinking, that might think that this guy talks in a pretty cool, fun, entertaining, and engaging way that might further, engage with his content. There's no evidence to show that this interview didn't actually sanitize him to other interviewers, right? Because like I said previously, I don't think Destiny sanitized Nick Fuentes, but I think other people can misinterpret his conversations in a way that could sanitize his audience, like this, right? Like Adam bringing him on, and I would say not providing adequate pushback in places where it was needed, could have allowed people to think, oh, maybe he's not that bad, because by and large, from Sneako's doing, because Sneako's a fucking moron, and he was just full on sanitizing the fuck out of Nick Fuentes every step of the way. Yeah, some issues. I think there's some critical moments where Adam made some. I don't know. I don't think Adam did a stellar job
for those conversations, because I didn't even watch it, to be honest, but apparently it was very, very, very challenging. I say challenging, they just did bad, but
this is why it's wrong to do the chicken and waffles thing, correct? I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you can easily say, I'm not saying this is the case. I really want to see MrGirl fire on all cylinders. I want to see what he has to offer to this conversation. But I believe that it is very fair to interpret that Destiny is doing more good than he is potentially doing harm. However, I do believe that he is being short-sighted on the potential harm. He's saying, like, I'm not, like, there is no, people aren't being converted to Nazis because of this conversation. We wouldn't know. It's not like they're going to be on No Jumpers Reddit and just go, yeah, I'm a Nazi now, thanks. Right? That's not something that's going to happen. Nor do I think that did happen. I think what probably, if it was to be the case, it's a slow process. It's not a process that somebody goes from being a No Jumper watcher instantly to a fucking Nazi. That doesn't happen, right? It's a slow process. Maybe they're going to check out his content, whatever shit. We don't have enough information to be able to show what is going to happen. That's my point. So I think Destiny is jumping the gun and trying to kind of paint himself in a little bit better of a light than he reasonably could get away with. I think he is jumping the gun in his favor. So the canon is Destiny is responsible for the ban? Is No Jumper banned?
So,
wait, who's banned?
I don't know. There are a couple of big posters on. They have a forum on. I'm not gonna say the site, but they have a forum where they communicate against themselves, and they have thought leaders that talk about things going on and blah blah blah. And it was interesting because a lot of the larger posters on this.
I don't think Nick needs a public hall monitor to counter him on any point he makes on stream. So you think the No Jumper shit was okay? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you saying that Destiny is the public janitor and Destiny shouldn't be engaging with Nick Fuentes? Either or could make sense. People who think Nick came out of a chicken and waffle situation looking like a stable, well-adjusted individual are brain dead. I don't know the ins and outs of that. But they interacted with Nick, and now all he has to do is say the Winter Soldier trigger words. Then all of No Jumper people will become Nazis. True. Like the video to sanitize Ahrelevant. Oh yeah, I didn't do a shout out previously here. I would enjoy it for everybody who is willing and wants to help the channel out. Please like the video. I like to point out why is because YouTube is the only place realistically that I can actually have native organic growth. On Twitch, I have to rely on a broken recommendation system or somebody gracing me with a raid. It is absolutely terrible. But on YouTube, if you like, the video, if you talk in chat, if you subscribe, comment, it actually boosts the algo to suggest my stream to people who might not even be watching anything to do with politics, that might not be watching anything to do with Destiny or Nick Fuentes or MrGirl. Some people that are just gaming, maybe playing fucking Factorio and shit. It is crazy how hard you can get boosted on YouTube to random individuals. So I would very much like it if you would like the stream, talk in chat, or sub. It very much helps out the stream in those ways, and I really do appreciate that. Because after shouting it out, I had roughly 30 people like the stream. So thank you to the 30 people who liked the stream after me saying that. Sorry to anybody that already liked it and just wants to get onto the content. I'll get right back to it. Thank you to the 30 people that liked the stream.
So it seemed to understand that I was coming at things in as good faith as possible. And it was interesting too, because there was a huge analysis that one of them had written up. I think his name's Andrew. I don't remember. I have to go back and find out about how basically like the recent spat with Destiny like retroactively shows that Fuentes' huge deplatforming arc with Ethan Ralph was like a huge mistake for the community.
I'm just a cool machine. I guess that's what I am doing.
So yeah, it seemed like parts of their community, or at least the bigger figures, were kind of understanding what was going on, even if they ultimately wouldn't have agreed with me politically or whatever. But
he'll now unlike and relike.
What are you gonna do? Nick was already bigger than you? Absolutely not. I'm 99% sure that the numbers on his on that website are probably inflated. I don't put much stock in it, but even Poll hates Fuentes. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't read the politics report now. Oh, I also I don't know if after hanging out with him and getting a feel for him and everything too, nobody will ever believe me, but I'm pretty sure. Just because I think this bridge is totally fucking nuked. Yeah, XYZ, those pictures are weird. Just because I think this bridge is totally
Destiny, those Jaden sleeping pictures? Sleeping pictures? What are those? Wait, I don't know what those are.
fucking nuked. Yeah, XYZ, those pictures are weird.
What is
if
that?
you were to hold a gun to Nick's head and try to get him to espouse his true, actual political beliefs.
Also, wait, why does he think the bridge with Nick is nuked? Why does he think that? What happened?
That he's actually way more center right than he comes off as. I think there's a lot of audience capture that exists there, but it feels like he's traveled enough around and he's talked to enough people that I don't actually know if he can be as far right as he comes off as stream, which is funny because I think people have the impression that he's actually way further right and he's moderated himself for a stream, but I don't think so. I think he plays up some of the far right stuff for the stream because he kind of has to. I think that he's like had a lot of experiences in life and he's gone through some things.
The
where
MrGirl stuff? Well, what about the MrGirl stuff would burn the bridge with Destiny?
So many people that you can meet, and there's only so many things you can do for you to have like in my opinion, most really racist, backwards, far right beliefs usually just come from being in a very restrictive environment for a long period of time. It's actually super easy to understand why somebody.
Yeah, why is why is Nick ranting about Destiny? Wait, Destiny really just say, well, it's jump for because MrGirl is accusing Destiny of sanitizing Nick Fuentes doesn't make sense. I hope the bridge gets burned. I mean, it'd be a solution to MrGirl's problem.
Hate LGBT people, why somebody could be racist, etc., etc. If you grew up your whole life never seeing any of them, but that's I mean, I can never prove that. But what else? Oh, the war. Okay, I don't know what it is. Well, MrGirl's fans or something else, dude. Okay, I love Max. We're still okay, even though he might not feel like it. I don't know why Forthon started banning MrGirl fans. Listen, I give my mods a lot of autonomy, okay? So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but apparently one of the reasons why Hitler's army was so effective in World War II.
Ah, he wouldn't engage with Nick for a bit because of the MrGirl ban, because Destiny stopped talking to Nick after the MrGirl ban. I didn't know that. I understand it. Because Nick is paranoid, reactionary crybaby, constantly thinks Destiny has ulterior motives, and from the very beginning he is a right-wing persecution brain rot. Well, college Wi-Fi. I think I'm going to go with the other responses as to why Nick did that. Also, Cherry, still inside of the chat. Yo, what's up?
Was because he didn't micromanage his generals. He basically sent them off and he said, listen, you guys do your shit. If you think there's a good attack, fucking go for it. Don't send word back to me. Just handle your shit. And if you fuck up, I'm probably going to throw you in fucking Auschwitz. Okay, good luck. And that's what they did. And they were effective. What? They were strong. Hey! They did their shit. So you guys see me arguing with the bear. Why do you ban that guy? And he's like, okay, fine. And I'm like, you do your thing. The bear does his thing. Forethought does his thing. I just kind of like sit up here and I watch them. Do you know that Hitler lost the war? Well, I I know Mr. Girl's subreddit is really extreme, but part of it should be attributed to you doing a purge, and before that saying, I don't mind losing you guys to Mr. Girl. No, I don't know how to say this without like sounding like an asshole, but like his fans are on like another level when it comes to like posting the subreddit. Like there'll be some shit where it'll be like, I should be saving examples, I guess. If you've seen the post, you know. If you haven't, you haven't. But there'll be some shit where like Mr. Girl will be talking to someone and it'll be like, I am gonna rip you. And then the other person will start crying. And like a Mr. Girl fan will be in the subreddit and it'll be like, a lot of the people here just don't seem to understand what Mr. Girl's project is. And that's to force people to have conversations that they're not comfortable with. It's not his responsibility to be babying other adults out of their ineptitude and their uncomfortabilities when it comes to engaging in topics that are incredibly difficult. The onus is on the other conversational partner to express when they're not comfortable with the conversation. It's not fair to make that demand of Max. Like, that's like the, and I'm like, bro, are you serious? What the fuck? Or like after all like the, Jesus, what was it? Like after the Stardust stuff, like people were like, oh, Stardust and Cherry, who by the way, f***ed up 100% of course. People were like, when they posted that, they proved Max right about every single thing ever. Like, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? Why would you even say that? Like, oh my God. It's, Mr. Girl somehow makes people autistic. It's, if you think I'm like a manic pixie dream boy, Mr. Girl is like manic pixie dream boy, like on 20x steroids. I think that he has like the type of captivating like personality and disposition to like draw on like and get people to be like the most obsessive. I think it's just like it's just the style of, it's just his personality type, I think. Which is, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just, it can be very irritating.
Destiny is slowly getting banned from everything. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets banned from YouTube at some point. Wait, what has Destiny been banned from recently?
Something that he's gonna have reasons why he doesn't do any of this, but like this is just my perception. He made a really novel insight into some of Dr. K's stuff that I actually agreed with in retrospect. And one of those things was pushing somebody really hard in a 30-minute conversation and getting them to cry is not like a breakthrough. That doesn't mean that you're doing a good job at giving them therapy and now they've like learned something. It just means that you're like pushing really hard in a public situation in an emotional way to get them to cry. And then like afterwards, of course, they're gonna feel good after some emotional release. And he made that observation about Dr. K. I was like, that's actually kind of true. I do agree with that. But I feel like he plays off the same type of dynamic where it's like push, you uncomfortable, okay, push. Now you're super emotionally compromised, and now I'm gonna deliver like my very empathetic message. And it's like, Jesus. But I feel like he does like a lot of the same shit. And I don't know, it drives me fucking crazy. But yeah, I don't think he's like, is he permabanned from the stuff? I mean, I imagine I'll unban him. I think I will. I'm pretty sure I will. Depending on what Forethought is doing, but he's permabanned? Well, I mean, I'll unban him, Dan.
He's banned on MySpace,
I heard. Permaban him. That's insane.
He got banned from Twitch. He will eventually give some spicy take on transgender or something getting banned.
Okay, you have upheld my ban, true?
I said I'd ban from your subreddit. Well, I don't even know. Listen, Forethought is his own entity. I said I doubt you're permabanned. I'd obviously unban you at some point. I just haven't like looked at anything yet. But I mean, you're not permabanned, damn. That'd be wild.
I'm not permabanned, but you so far have upheld my. Forethought does what you say. If you unban me, he wouldn't reban me.
Forethought is an independent institution of moderation. He does as he does. I institute the power to moderate in him, and he does his moderation stuff.
Okay,
but
so you can't unban somebody if he bans them.
I mean, I could, yeah, but he kind of runs shit.
You could. Okay,
could,
so
yeah.
you are choosing to not. Can you not hide? Are you really gonna hide behind your mod?
When you say you are upholding his ban, it sounds like you're trying to transfer the decision and responsibility of his ban onto me just because I'm above him.
Yes.
And while it is technically true that I could supersede the ban, that's not where the ban comes from. I don't think I would have ever banned you, but he did. So the decision lies with him. Now, if you want to ask the question, like, do you have the power to undo any bans? Then yeah, sure. But if you want to apply that all the responsibility lies with me because I necessarily have the power to overturn it, I don't necessarily think that connotation is fair. But I mean, I guess to answer your questions in the way that makes you happy, yeah, I guess I would be upholding your ban then since I'm choosing not to undo the ban.
You own the ban.
If it makes you feel better for me to say that, then yeah, sure.
Well, that's a way for you to not say it. So you're not really saying it.
I wasn't the one that banned you. I wouldn't have banned you. But if Forethought decides to ban you, I defend my moderators. Yes.
Okay. So you.
Okay.
Will you tell me the reason for my ban?
Is this a YouTube video? It is a YouTube video. It's not their stream. I couldn't find their stream.
Or your reason for defending the ban?
Yeah, I think his. I don't want to misquote him, but I think his reason is just that he was time to go post on Mr. Girl posters related to the war, and I think you gave a snarky answer on some post, and he's like, "Fuck this guy," and he took you out.
Okay. And what is your defense of that, other than it is Forethought, he is my moderator and I defend my moderators? Why is that okay with you?
Well, I mean, I entrust my moderators to enact their privileges as they do so. Same thing with RTB. I don't usually question his bans. I mean,
okay, so you don't have any.
God damn, really? That level of autonomy? They don't even question them. If you get banned by the bear, it's just you're cooked. It's like, hey, listen, man, hands off. God damn, I didn't think he had that much shit. The stream is up on Odyssey if you want it. I don't know. I think it's. I think I actually remember getting that. Actually, now that I remember, and I think it's pretty similar length, so I don't think there's much editing.
Thoughts or investment or anything in particular? With this is just another ban, another day.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you've seen any of the messages that have been posted,
if somebody wants to link it to me, yeah, but I don't remember Odyssey having good quality.
I was a little bit incredulous that he was banning as much as he was. I think I messaged him twice about it on Discord, and then I asked in chat if it was actually really happening, and yeah, it seemed like he was doing it. But like,
But not so incredulous that you would actually tell him to stop or reverse the ban.
no, I entrust him to enact his moderation as independently as he feels necessary. But like, I imagine at some point I'm probably like, okay, well, it's time to chill. Probably start unbanning people,
Right.
or at least unban you. Yeah.
Okay. I think you're doing a little bit of a good cop, bad cop routine with me here.
Let me restate what I said. I understand that you like to frame things in your way, but I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to tell you specifically that my moderators have a wide amount of discretion in terms of them doing what they do. And I even disagree with them. And there are times where my chat makes money for it. Like RTB bans people like, I don't know, we should unban that guy. Sometimes I'll unban them and RTB will reban them. It's like, oh, fuck it. That's what the bear says. The bear has all of his shit in his mind for why he bans people and blah, blah, and I generally trust him. I was like, okay, if you want to do that, that's fine. And then same thing with forethought. So somebody comes at me and they're like, did you really approve of like RTBA banning me? The answer is probably no. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have banned you because I don't usually ban people at all for anything. I'm pretty, unless they like go like hard on me generally. I don't like, I'm just not that active in moderating stuff. But like, if you want to say like, well, did you approve this specifically? I mean, no, I didn't. But if you want to say, do you approve of it? I mean, I generally approve of like what my moderators do. But yeah, that's about.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
So beyond saying you approve of what they do, are you willing to say why you approve of this? I asked.
Well,
you
I mean, the
that,
whole
you
point
said
of giving them
moderator.
moderation like deference is that
Okay,
I
so
don't
just
sign
so-
off on
just-
individual
okay,
actions.
So
Yeah.
you're not gonna make an independent comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
not generally, yeah.
Am I going to be allowed to say right now what I see is happening?
Yeah, you can
Or
say whatever you want.
is
You're,
it-
this is my Discord.
Oh,
Now
no,
we're in my world.
he's
Forethought can't hurt
censored.
you here. I don't think so.
You were gonna censor
I
him.
think you're doing a little bit of a good cop, bad cop routine
Okay, gotcha.
here, where this is all in service of you, but you get to appear to be open to criticism, which I don't think you are.
Okay.
You get to appear to be not ban happy, which I believe you are. You
Okay.
basically get to externalize anything that would make you look bad into the foil, forethought in this case,
Okay.
and appear super reasonable, but you're not that reasonable. I don't think you are. I think you're pretending to be more reasonable and much thicker skinned than you are in reality. And I believe this is the plight of the orbiter, where if you're like an action star that is contractually obligated to win every fight in every fight scene that he's in. And I can be in the movie. I can come in, I can fight with you, whatever, but I have to lose. And if I don't lose an argument with you, you just say that I did, and then just start banning people. It's just like I just watch history get rewritten by you. You get to just choose the narrative. And with this, I feel like this is what all we're fighting over is narrative control over me. And, like,
I think if you can establish that he's doing that, that would look really, really bad. Maybe I really wish I had looked over more of this stuff to see if, like, what MrGirl's point might have been as to whether or not this was happening. But if that is the case, I don't browse Reddit enough to know if it is the case. If that is the case, then, you know, I feel like you can make him look really bad. I feel so bad for Rosris. It's his goodbye stream trying to talk to Destiny. You know, MrGirl brings it. Wait. What? I mean, I don't think Rosris feels bad about that. I don't think Rosris feels entitled to Destiny's time any more than MrGirl is entitled to it.
my biggest existence. On
Does
the
this
internet
happen
now
to
is
you
on-
as an orbiter? I am literally not going to lie to you. My only information about what happens, what conversations about me happen on Reddit come from my girlfriend. That is it. I have no knowledge or understanding of anything that happens on Reddit at all. I hear it but secondhand. I do not care. I do not care. I don't know how people can browse Reddit on their streams and shit and just go like, oh, this comment looks pretty stupid. It's like, bro, what do you do? Like, that is so... I just couldn't fathom doing that. Maybe I'll change. Maybe I should change. Maybe it's a lot of fun. But the times that I've done it on stream, oh my goodness, it is miserable. Reddit girlfriend, Elbro, yeah, you're telling me. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Your platform, right? Like I don't. My own platform is tiny, but you're saying shit in comments like I'm brigading you, or astroturfing.
The
And
fuck
it
is
just feels like
astroturfing?
you're
Chat, what is astroturfing?
you get to
Also,
say,
chat, quick shout out this time. Please like the stream. It helps the algorithm. It allows me to grow a lot faster when it comes to having any kind of discoverability. Like I said, YouTube is the only place where I can actually get non-endemic people into my stream, and the way that that happens is through people liking the stream, through people talking in the chat, commenting, subscribing. That's the only way that shit like that happens. So please, if you like the stream and want more people inside of the chat or to join the community, please like the stream. It matters so much to me. Like I said, when I'm on Twitch, I'm pretty much just streaming to the same people for years and years. That's what it is. I have to pray for somebody to raid me in order to get any kind of growth. But on YouTube, I actually have a chance. That's part of the reason why I personally like streaming on YouTube more. I feel more hopeful. I feel more energized about the idea that I could possibly have growth. So yeah, please like the stream.
What I said. You get to say what I meant. And anybody who pushes back on you, including me, gets banned.
Okay.
And it feels fucked up. But separately, so yeah, I don't like being your orbiter. I like you.
Sure.
I love you.
Okay, so
As
let's
I said,
sort through a couple
I
things
mean that.
to really be quick, okay? So,
Yeah.
one, everything you just said is
Thank
not
you,
true.
Larry.
There's plenty of criticism of my sub that stays. There's plenty of criticism you've done of me that have stayed.
That does not refute what I just said.
No, but your statement sounds far more absolute than the truth is. The idea that like there's no room for criticism is just that's patently
No,
false.
you have to appear. You appear that there's room for criticism.
No,
You tip the
you're just
scales.
wrong. There is plenty of room for criticism. There are plenty of people that criticize me there that
Well,
haven't
of
been
course,
banned.
you'd say that though. You're
No, I
never
wouldn't say that there
gonna
are. Do you want me to find you examples of people criticizing me on my sub that haven't
No,
been banned?
you have to. You can't ban all criticism of you, or you'll look like a megalomaniacal.
Cool.
Crazy
Okay, so then we do agree that
So then, man, that's a little bit of a tough argument for Mr. Girl there. Avocado Adorable. I think even if you own a Reddit or a chat, if you assign mods, you have to trust them and let them make their own decisions. Otherwise, you're micromanaging and basically doing the same work. Also, they can't perform unless you support them. Yeah. So my experience with moderation, I'm going to do this very fast. My experience with moderation, just moderating a Twitch chat. There's been multiple times that one of my mods had banned somebody, and I didn't really know why they did it. And they essentially said like, oh yeah, I've seen them in the chat. They've been doing this. They've been doing that. I have to some level, recognize that I put them inside of the position that I did for a reason and go, hey, look, I'm not going to look through months of logs, weeks of logs, days of logs to be able to understand the context for why you might have banned this person. Because usually it's not like a one-time offense unless they just drop the N-word or something. It's usually not just a one-time offense, but more of a prolonged kind of escapade of shit that they've been doing inside of my chat room, and so I don't have time to look at it, so I trust them. And I imagine this might be a similar situation to Destiny inside of his moderation team, especially considering he's probably banning a lot more people than anybody inside of my moderation team.
some criticism of me exists on my subreddit. We do agree with that.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So
Absolutely.
some criticism does exist there.
Tommy would never do that. Tommy actually fucking ats me and tells me why, he wants to ban somebody quite often. He'll be like, oh, this is the reason, that's the reason, this is the reason. But, sometimes shit has to be done and it can't really be explained realistically. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to sit in a call for 20 minutes having somebody explain, one of my mods explain to me why somebody should be banned over some random person in chat. That's just not going to happen.
Yes.
Typically, when I moderate, what I am looking for is to avoid huge circle jerks, because sometimes those destroy communities. There are things that I'll pump the brakes on if I think that things are getting a little bit out of hand. You've had a lot of criticism of me. There's been a lot of stuff said, blah, 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 blah. I think the thing that ramped it up, probably in Forethought's head, was you declaring war on the subreddit, and then it felt like a lot of people from your community were making these huge posts of
I
defending
don't
you.
have a community. There's not a lot of. Those are all 99% of my fans are your fans.
Sure, but okay, people making that in service of defending you, I think was.
Okay, but I feel like you're doing this no true Scotsman thing, where if somebody is a fan of me, they are no longer a fan of you, which is actually becoming true.
I
because
never
you're
said that
banning
if they're
them.
not a fan of. If they're a fan of you, they're not a fan of me. I've never said that. You just totally invented that completely.
You're allowing your mod to ban people just for being fans of me. He said, "I'm going to."
I think eventually, I think that's what.
fans."
Yeah, I think that's what it evolved into.
Okay, well, so whatever even if it evolved there, I don't have a separate community. You are excising me from your community.
Sure. I think that the awkward place that we're trying to struggle with now, and I'll probably have again, this is my first day back. I'll probably have a more serious conversation before that about this. Right. But the idea that you can use my community or the subreddit, I guess, as your community, and then post on it and then make suggestions or almost, I don't want to say ultimatums about moderation as such. My guess is it probably triggered the fuck out of Forethought, and that's probably why he got really bad happy on stuff. That'd be my guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I am making ultimatums. They're not, but
yeah, but it's not. But how do you?
Wait, does Mr. Girl agree that he's using Destiny's community as his own community? Because I feel like that's not a thing that you can really do.
With what right?
Like, if I wanted to go inside of Destiny's community and kind of join his community, and then, you know, of the community that I joined, there's people in there that, you know, like me, want to engage with my content and stuff, that's different. And maybe that's what he's talking about. But, yeah, to kind of like, I don't know. I would have to see the ban appeal stream, Ahrelevant ban. I had a great idea for ban appeal stream. The problem is the reasons why we ban people feels too reasonable. That pretty much everybody who's banned should be banned.
Fucking basic human dignity. Like,
to tell someone, wait, how can you use basic human dignity to tell someone else, like, this is how you need to start moderating your community? Like, it's not your community to moderate.
Absolutely. You can, no.
Or you're talking about ban appeals for Destiny stream? I would 100% do that. If Destiny's community or whatever, if like Destiny's moderation team wanted to offload some bans to me, I have a great idea for how to do that, and I think it would be content. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be enjoyable. I would love to do that. I think it'd be very, very fun.
You're reframing that, but absolutely.
What if they banned you now and gave the same excuse? What do you mean? Is Relly still reading here? Yes, I am.
It is totally fair for a colleague or orbiter of yours to say, like, look, I don't like how I'm being treated, and I don't want to put up with it. And like, I'm positive I'm not the first person to feel this way, and I'm not, like, I say I love you, but personally, and I have very strong feelings about you, like, as my friend, but I'm not your fucking sycophant.
Okay.
And like,
Max,
if this means that I can't.
Really
Wait 1 second. If this means I can't work with
What the fuck? You left Twitch? No, I didn't. I just stopped streaming on Twitch because I'm watching people who are banned on Twitch.
you, or I can't be in your part of your community, that's fine. But I don't want to be kicked around and be constantly redefined with your thumb on the scale of how I performed or who I am or what I say.
Hold on. I'm going to have to go back over this. The point of a ban appeal stream, when most of it, most, if not all bans are reasonable, is to read Schizo post ban appeals for content, though? No, so I'm going to let this loose because I think it's a really good idea for ban appeal streams. That's really fun content. I wanted to do something called the Court of Logs, which was getting randomly selected individuals a part of the community. I wanted literally to just do a court process. I think that would be incredibly fun for ban appeals. I was spamming this in chat, but I don't think Tiny clicked it. He pursued it. Wait, what? What is this? He pursued it. What is this supposed to show? I'll read this in a second, but what is that supposed to show? But sorry, yeah, it's like a thing where you have a jury of your peers randomly selected. You get a lawyer, and then there's a prosecutor or whatever, right? And you go through the process of, you know, showing and displaying evidence and shit, and it's a whole thing. I think it would be a lot of fun because, you know, you get people in this example would be DGG, who get randomly selected for jury duty. And you just get a message like, you've been selected for jury duty. Time to do your civic duty and show up to this fucking random Schizo Discord call to see whether or not this person is guilty of crimes against Skyrim and its people. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Keffels does that? Well, she stole the idea from me because I had that idea for fucking 4 years now. Rando, op saying why MrGirl shouldn't do things and MrGirl saying no, and then Forethought saying askers, basically. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing, basically. Let's take a look. Let's take a little bit of a detour. I'm assuming I could show this on stream, right? RTBA? You would need to get people to sign up for jury duty. We just request people do it, and then we just keep requesting until we get enough people, right? I think that would be the idea. Hold on. Yeah? All right. Oop. All right. To request to Mr. Girl and his community. To start this post off, I would first like to acknowledge the struggles of Mr. Girl and his community face. Mr. Girl is an incredibly controversial figure with and a ton of statements ending up being characterized incorrectly by his critics. As a Destiny fan, I can see this happen to Steven on Twitter and other subs such as r/Vosh. I do not have any issues with fans taking to Twitter or Reddit to defend their favorite streamer, or at the very least present their words in a more correct way, the most correct way possible. With that being said, I do have an issue with the way that Mr. Girl and his community make use of the sub. To me, it ultimately feels as though Mr. Girl and his fans, just to be clear, I believe this is Mr. Girl's Reddit username, and his fans use this sub as though it was their own. What do I mean by this? To start off, there are an incredible amount of daily Mr. Girl posts, either from fans of him or Max himself. Once again, I understand that there are also plenty of anti-Mr. Girl posts on the sub. I have no issue with fans of Mr. Girl or fans or Max himself replying in the comments of these posts, but the creation of separate pro Mr. Girl posts feels super cringe. To draw a comparison, I would feel the same way about pro Destiny posts being spammed into r/Vosh. Comments, why is this like edited? Comments in a hate post are fair game to me, but making a separate post about Destiny in another sub just isn't it. Why is it like cropped? To avoid this, I would request that Max, FYI saying no Giga Chad, too long didn't read, and congrats or say that didn't happen to effort posts is a bannable offense of itself. Really? Just finished the new COD on Veteran. I want to remove you from my community. To avoid this, I would request. Nah, it actually, to be perfectly fair, the campaign for the new Call of Duty actually looked pretty cool to me. I fucking hate Call of Duty though. I absolutely hate Call of Duty. The gunplay is atrocious, but I think the new Call of Duty, I like the immersion. I think they did a pretty good job of like making it feel immersive. And I like the way they did the characters. I like the voices for a lot of the characters. I think it feels good. I think the campaign feels good. But God, do I hate the fucking gameplay. Anyway, to avoid this, I would request that Max and his community make use. I don't know why this is cropped. This feels really weird that it's cropped or cut out or whatever shit. That's really weird to me. To avoid RTBA, do you know about this? Did you at least like COD up to 4? I played Call of Duty all the way up to Black Ops 1. I get the Reddit glitch sometimes. It's not edited. Reddit is just sometimes broken. Oh, I think it was just like an entire essay. Wait, MVM, the text is different size. My bad. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. It is what it is. Worst case scenario, somebody can actually look up the fucking message or whatever, and I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. To avoid this, I would request that Max and his community make use of his own subreddit instead of or primarily posting on this one. I still hold the position that it is fine for Mr. Girl and his fans to defend him on the comments of negative posts. However, the vast majority of the posts should remain on Mr. Girl's sub. If this could not be accomplished, I feel as though a temporary ban on Mr. Girl and / Mr. Girl related posts is necessary to help push him and his community to make use of their own sub. TLDR, Mr. Girl and his community treat this subreddit as though it's their own. This behavior has been worsening our community's outlook on them. The solution to this problem is for Mr. Girl and his fans to post on their own sub instead of using ours. I'm going to be honest, this feels quite reasonable. His response being no. Now again, this is clearly like taken. It's clearly a photo taken of it, right? It's separate font size. It's zoomed in and shit. So these are photos plopped onto this shit, or in some way. And then fourth, I put not asking. Yeah, if this went down in the way that it is being displayed, all of the content is very similar to what is being shown, I think this is pretty reasonable by the poster. And I think for Mr. Girl to respond no, that's kind of bizarre. Maybe it was a joke, if I'm being honest. The essay? Oh! Alright, so this is considerably longer. So it did have some shit removed. Let's take a look. I fear the trend to continue permanent ban on all things. I fear if this trend, okay, to avoid this, I would request, I feel as though the problems with the has our community stemmed from the misuse of the sub? Going back to the topic at hand, it honestly feels as though his community uses the sub as their own. The PV. So I see it's because the person was kind of like looping. Okay. Edit. Hey, so just wanted to clarify some things. Firstly, you don't have to agree with my assessment of how Max and his fans use the sub. I think I could. Okay. And then let's see if we can't. Assuming we can't find the thing, can we? I don't know how to use Reddit. So yeah. Okay. I think that deserves a yikes. A bit of a yikes. A small yikes. Because I don't know. I gotta make it. I don't know. If I'm being good faith to MrGirl, I'm assuming it was a joke. But I might have a discussion with MrGirl, and if I do have a discussion with him and this topic gets brought up, which I want to bring it up, even if the conversation is resolved, I think I kind of have to address that because I feel like that's a really crucial part to this, you know? I think that is pretty crucial.
There's just like so many narratives about me. I'm watching getting spun, and it's like this.
I think that you're the
dark...
first person.
So thank you RTBA for that.
Subreddit.
No.
Then why
I'm
do
not
you
saying
think
I
you're
am.
the only one that's making this big of a fucking stink over it?
Because I have a spine, and I'm willing to sacrifice my career.
Or
I'm
maybe
willing to sacrifice.
you're digging way too deep into something that's like so fucking minuscule that nobody else would like give nearly as much of a fuck as you.
Well, that's not true. There's other people who've been upset about this very publicly.
Yeah,
but
and then they get the fuck over it like adults.
I don't know if this is the best
No,
argument.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think this is the argument he wants to take from his perspective. I mean, if he believes it, he believes it.
Don't get over it. They backstabbed Steven and they tried to destroy him. Don't get over it. They turned into his fucking arch nemesis.
You don't think
I'm
that
not
there's been like every single orbiter of Destinies that has been dunked on incessantly on his in his Discord, on his subreddit, on his stream, to the point where they take a fucking break from the internet and then they come back and everything's fucking fine again.
Yes, that sounds like an abusive relationship that they should
I
probably
see
set
college
boundaries about,
Wi-Fi.
which is all I'm doing. They're not really ultimatums. There's no real war. I'm just setting boundaries, and I'm saying, look, dude, you are kind of shitting on me. You're shitting on me in a subtle way.
Setting boundaries for how he runs his community. You're not setting boundaries.
I can't wait. I'm setting boundaries for my own
interactions.
participation. I'm setting boundaries for my own participation. I can't control how he runs his community. All I can do is say, look, if you want me to be part of this, then this is how it needs to change.
Well, I mean, like, to be fair, didn't the initial conversation you had between I think me and Forth, that was basically saying that like the way you moderate your community is bad, and these are the changes you need to make. That was kind of a.
Yes. Well, what is
like
the
an
threat?
aggressive
Obviously, the only
boundary. You're, like, telling him
obviously
that's how he
the
has
only
to
threat.
act in order for you.
I think I agree with the idea that from Mr. Girl's perspective on that one, where it's like it is premised on the only leverage that he has, which is his participation inside of the subreddit. Like I think you should probably explain it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the way that Destiny, the way that you run your subreddit, or your subreddit. Subreddit, right? Subreddit is bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. With the implication being that if you do not correct it, I will be leaving. Did you read my comment earlier about why I wanted you to react? Did you have any thoughts or disagree? Did you put it in Twitch or did you put it in Discord? No, I didn't read it in Discord. Oh, Twitch? Okay.
To even like.
I didn't read it,
continue
no.
to
I can
interact
look at
with
your
Yeah, if
logs.
I come over to your house and you're beating your kids, then I can say like, look, I really need you to stop doing that, or I don't want to come over for dinner anymore. It's a totally reasonable thing. Most orbiters don't have boundaries. Most orbiters are not willing to push. That's why Steven gets away with this shit, where he can be all friendly to your face and then make moderating decisions that completely fuck you over.
Well, I don't
shit
make
on
the
you,
moderating
shoot you.
decisions as Forethought, to be clear.
Okay,
Playing a little
fine,
fast
not-
and loose.
Okay, this is why I wanted your reaction. Destiny just passes off all responsibility. Like, it is Destiny's subreddit. Like, isn't making Forethought the head mod a mod decision on Destiny's part? Didn't I explain? So I agree with Mr. Girl in the capacity that Destiny has final say, and so ultimately Destiny does hold some kind of accountability as to the thing of it. Destiny wouldn't disagree with this. There's no way he could. It would be hypocritical for him to disagree. But I also do agree with Destiny's counterpoint, which I believe he brought up, which is that to a certain degree, moderation needs a level of autonomy because moderation because the whole point of moderation is for them to watch over things, that way you don't have to. So when moderation bans somebody, right, they are probably banning somebody with more information than the individual like streamer who they're residing under. However, reviewing the moderation decisions of your team should be a priority when the ethics of that moderation action are in question. If the only threat MrGirl was making is that he'd leave, why does it matter he was banned from the sub? Maybe it's because he feels that it was. I mean, he can be mad at him being banned from the sub because he thinks that they were doing something bad, right? If I said, for instance, Keffels, you're doing something bad with your mischaracterization of certain streamers' statements to the point of like potentially defaming them, and then she was like, didn't care, didn't ask, plus L plus ratio, and banned me, I could be mad at that because it's like my critique doesn't no longer exist, right? It still exists that happened. I was just banned.
Moderating decisions, whatever the fuck you're doing, it sucks.
The distinction is important, but
being your it's not important to the orbiter. Being your orbiter fucking sucks, and the reason it sucks is because you are insistent on rewriting history to make it so that I am a loser, and I don't.
You made like a post. You got like 500.
I don't see. The problem is, I would love to have a stronger. Hold up. I do think it goes in Destiny's side later in the talk, but Jesus, it starts off bad for Destiny IMO. Hold on. Okay, this is. Oh, you already copied the thing. You're talking about earlier when we were looking at it? He didn't have. But should banning someone you literally do streams with be different than banning some random chatter? Like MrGirl gets on stream to talk about it. How many other banned chatter gets this chance? I think it should be different. So this was a kind of thing a statement that I've had before. I think that streamers should get more consideration for special privileges, for consideration for bans and stuff. And the reason why is because they have accountability, right? If I ban a chatter, they can create a new account, maybe get a VPN and get around it, or do some kind of, hocus pocus to be able to potentially, just kind of reset back to null, or, do that. But streamers have some measure of accountability. So I will give them more of a chance to be able to defend themselves, because if they fuck up, it's a bigger deal. You understand?
500 like upvote or 500 comments, and it was pretty massively upvoted saying like, oh, look at this, I told you so, I was right about Fuentes. How is that making anybody a loser? Like, it seems like you had like a pretty positive reception of my subreddit. What do you mean? It wasn't until like the war started and everything.
Within 24 hours of making that post, your head mod is saying that he's going to ban all my fans and then banned me, and you're upholding it. So this is a good example of why I think this furthers my argument that I'm not really allowed to win an argument with you.
Okay, I totally disagree. I think that like when you preface things with like, we're going at war with this sub, and then people start getting like mass ban and shit, like that's probably what's gonna happen.
No, that's only gonna happen if you, the authoritarian leader of your sub, with that iron fist, controlling the narrative around everything that happens. That's assumed. People are like, oh, it's the consequences of my action. You can declare war on my sub. You're not banned from my sub. And one day, if I'm ever bigger than you,
okay, hold on, wait. Even that false. Yeah, I was gonna say that comparison is a loser. That comparison doesn't really work well, right? Because I don't have anything to gain from like going to war with your sub, right? It would literally just make me look bad. So I don't think the comparison is necessarily like one to one, but like.
Do you understand when I say war? I'm just saying, I strongly disagree with your moderating decisions, and I don't want to participate in the community in any way other than complaining about your moderating decisions until they change.
Well, sure, but like, let's say then you get
MrGirl acts like he gets a lot of hate on the sub. Before the war shit was, there wasn't even that many posts against him on the sub. I wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to use Reddit properly, bro. I have no idea.
And from that, like, what are the two alternatives? Either I have to acquiesce, or Fortnite acquiesces to your demands, or you get banned. Like, it sounds like you're trying to argue that like you have the right to say that like, well, this is how it should go. Like, you should.
Pardon me though. I do have to go to the bathroom really quickly. So I'll make a shout out to people who potentially want to support the channel by liking the stream. If you like the stream, it gives the stream a chance at discoverability for non-endemic viewers. It is very important to me. It's because it's It is literally the only place. YouTube is the only place where it can have organic growth. Whereas on Twitch, I have to hope that somebody else like raids into me. So please, if you would be so kind, please like the stream. I am going to go to the bathroom for just a moment. I am pausing the video though, because I do think the video is pretty important to go through step by step. So give me 1 second. I'll be back. My bathroom's right there. Be right back. All right.
No, we don't know. It doesn't have to be.
Thank you to the 23 people who liked the stream while I was away. I appreciate it. Thank you. I've been getting a lot of support from people whenever I do shout outs like that. A lot of floods of people who like the video. Thank you.
Resolved. We can just be in conflict. I can
No, hold on. That's not true. No, that doesn't work. Okay, perpetual conflict like that isn't healthy. There has to be some resolution.
I totally disagree.
That's great. I disagree. You're wrong.
The American experiment is founded on perpetual.
There
conflict.
is a different.
The rulers.
The American experiment is conflict that exists between a people and a government. That's different between conflict between communities or interpersonal conflict or conflict with moderation. Those are two completely and totally different things.
Well, I disagree. I think constant conflict is
inevitable. Thank you to the 10 people who just liked
as well. You have to ban me if I complain about the moderating, and I don't think it's true that you have to cave.
Okay, constant conflict is not inevitable, and also even if there is conflict,
disagrees with your moderating,
even if there is conflict that happens in relationships, the goal is to minimize the conflict.
True.
It's not
that's your goal.
That's everybody. That's every goal of every healthy relationship is to minimize.
No way MrGirl disagrees with this, right?
Okay, then I don't want a healthy relationship.
Okay, well that's fine, but then if you don't want a healthy relationship with another community and you end up getting like banned for the community, I mean that doesn't seem like a surprising thing. Like I want a relationship that is.
Wait, what?
Well, yeah, that's fine. Your definition of healthy is complacence.
Maybe it's a miscommunication. Maybe what MrGirl thinks when he says a minimizing of conflict is MrGirl thinks that minimizing of conflict means potentially ignoring conflict in order to minimize it. So like when you guys come up to a disagreement, you choose to not talk about it in order to minimize the conflict. Maybe that's what he means. I think that's the only way to salvage that statement.
No, my definition of healthy is moving people into places where they are relatively happy and content with the way that things are with some respects of relationship. Like you can make changes or make demands, but the idea that you want an infinite conflict with a community just sounds like a recipe for disaster. Why would anybody want that?
No, I don't want infinite conflict. I'm saying I just disagree with your assumption that you either have to ban me or cave to my demands.
You just totally changed. You can't say I don't want infinite conflict and then say, well, actually, conflict is an important part of every relationship, and your goal is to minimize conflict, and my goal isn't, and I wanted to have perpetual. No, hold on. No. When you say
to set boundaries and not be a flunky loser
you're playing
anymore. I don't want to be orbiter anymore.
I'm not Stardust. You don't play war games with me, okay? You don't say I think that conflict is inevitable, but in the prior sentence you said I am going to remain in perpetual conflict with your sub, because the latter there sounds like, oh well, maybe conflict happens, but what's really happening is
shot you just took about the word games I played with Stardust.
You're not even letting me finish. Yes, because you are.
And why would I let you finish when you're fucking sneaking in shit about other shit? No,
because you're playing. Because
you're playing.
No, you just did. I can't even finish my sentence.
I don't want to put up with it.
Okay, I'm just gonna finish my sentence.
When you do that, I don't care about what you're saying.
Okay, you're writing history in real time while complaining that I'm doing it. Okay, you can't change the definitions of everything on the fly over and over again. Okay, you can't say like, well, conflict is a natural part of relationships, but then prior to that say like, I'm going to remain in conflict with your subreddit forever. Like those are two wildly different statements. And one of those you make the conflict sound incidental, like maybe it just happens sometimes. But in the former, you're actually like intentionally pursuing the maximum conflict route. You can't pretend that like these two things are the same. They're two very different ways of going about things.
I think as long as you are mistreating your orbiters, and as long as I am one of your orbiters, I am going to complain about it.
Okay, but I'm not even my goal.
If you can't stand being in conflict with me, then I agree. You're either going to ban me or cave.
Okay, so I didn't ban you, and I'm not the one.
I don't know. I guess I wish I had more conflict with Destiny to get a better perspective on MrGirl. MrGirl's point here, I mean. I don't know.
One seeking conflict with you. It's you seeking conflict with my subreddit, and Forethought happens to be the de facto authoritarian second in command of the subreddit. Like
okay,
that's
I'm seeking conflict with your subreddit because of the passive aggressive shit you do that I don't like.
What passive aggressive shit that I do? letting my
just
moderators
that
have
whole
wide
thing.
deference over how they moderate communities? That counts as passive aggressive shit to you?
No. Do you actually want an answer?
Well, sure.
Okay, just now you said word games you play with Stardust. That was a little jab that you get to sneak in, right? If I snuck in a jab about you like that, you would take me to the fucking, you would kick my ass over it.
Stop.
But
You've
you
already
let-
done that exact thing in here by implying that I am in an abusive relationship with everybody that is friends with me online. Do you remember saying that, or do I need to go find the clip and remind you of you saying
I was gonna agree with Mr. Girl there, but it was a pretty good point from Destiny. He did imply that.
I remember saying
Okay,
that.
so don't say that you never take little jabs at me when you literally did that by saying that verbatim, and then I reply back like, hold on, you're playing word games, and I know that sometimes with other people, with weaker chatters, you can do that, but like, I'm not gonna let you just redefine things in the middle of a conversation to make yourself sound like really good. When the reality is that like, what
Man, I lost the plot on
you're
that
advocating for is not like a cool thing. It's like a max reframe to make something really fucked up sound normal, like saying you should pursue maximum conflict in your relationships, which is a wild thing to say. And if you want to say that somebody else is good with, that's
No,
fine, but that's
I
not gonna
didn't
happen in a
say
conversation with me.
I didn't say that, but you're gonna make it so that I did, and you're gonna ban anybody who disagrees.
No,
with me.
that's lit.
I didn't. Me saying that you're in an abusive relationship with your orbiters is not an aside. That's not a jab. That is why I'm in this conversation with you. That is the thing we're talking about.
Okay, and when I'm having conversations with you,
unlike
unlike in conversations with other people, I don't let you get away with the sneaky redefining of the words to make extremely
it's not-
abnormal statements sound normal, like you
Okay.
should have conflict in all of your relationships, and that's healthy and good, when it's not.
I think conflict is inevitable in relationships, and I don't think that you have to avoid it. I think you're conflict avoidant, and I think that is the frame that you approach conflict.
I
with.
didn't
You're
say
like,
you
well,
had to
one of us-
avoid.
one
What
of
did I
us
say
has to
earlier?
break.
There's an R word that you use. It's not avoid conflict, it's resolve conflict. You seek to resolve conflict. If you maintain conflict in perpetuity, it is bad, period. There is no max redefining of that to make that an okay thing. Conflict does not need to exist perpetually. It might, as a result of two people in any organization or any like relationship, they might have conflict, but your goal whenever conflict arises is to resolve it, not to open it perpetually, which is what you implied you were going to do by being in a subreddit that you're not happy with, whose moderation styles you want to change, that you don't have any control over, which is to imply that you want to seek maximum, unavoidable, perpetuated conflict, which is not healthy. And then you gave that little explanation to make it sound like that's always going to happen, like it's incidental and not purposeful. Sorry, go.
A goal of resolving it is great, but I disagree that it is required that you either cave or ban me. However, that may be how you feel. But as your orbiter, I'm telling you, the experience sucks. Where we have a conversation, and then during the conversation, you define what I'm saying for me, and you get to define it afterward, and then you get to put your thumb on the scale of and tell the community literally what to think of me and always what they should think of me.
I feel like okay, maybe. Oh man, I really want to have that conversation with Mr. Girl now, and he seems open to it, so we'll probably be able to do that. But what it sounds like right now is a problem that he just kind of has with people who have bigger audiences, unless he's trying to imply that Destiny, and maybe he is, and maybe I missed it somewhere. Maybe he's just trying to imply that Destiny is just bad faith in these kinds of discussions. But it seems like he's having that, because I could understand, like, if I wanted to disagree with Destiny on something that Destiny was unwilling to budge on, it could feel like there is no winning for me. But the problem is I wouldn't use Destiny's own subreddit as a barometer for whether or not I win. And it feels kind of weird that Mr. Girl is using it that way. It's kind of another thing I wanted to talk to him about. Why is it that when Mr. Girl is having discussions as to whether or not, you know, he wins, if he wins, he's not allowed to win against Destiny, because if he does, then everything gets nuked inside of his Discord or inside of his Reddit and stuff like that. I don't think, like, I wouldn't personally look to Destiny's Reddit for whether or not I won a conversation with Destiny. If Destiny's Reddit agrees with me that I did beat him inside of an argument, that is a phenomenal sign, but that wouldn't be the place that I would go. It was like when I had the conversation with Vosh, and there was a post with some pretty decent upvotes saying that, like, Vosh took an L against me. That was a really, really good sign that I did a good job, but I wasn't looking. Other people had to point me to that, because first and foremost, it was on Reddit, but people had to point me to that because I wasn't looking in Vosh's subreddit to figure out if I had done well inside of that discussion, because I kind of expect there to be some measure of team playing, kind of an attitude and shit like that. Now, obviously, I believe Mr. Girl's point is supposed to be that Destiny is holds himself to be a unique individual in his integrity, or what he considers to be his integrity, for being able to have these kinds of conversations and enable his Reddit or various different platforms to criticize him. So maybe that's kind of the missing link here.
He is something bad.
Okay, for one, my thumb is always going to be someone on the scale. It's my community. Of course the thumb is going to be someone on the scale, especially if there's another content creator that's putting his thumb on the scale in the other way, right? We're literally like gods wading into the subreddit to have battle, and you expect me to not participate, and you're out there.
To the scale.
You do to some extent. Of course you do. What do you mean you don't have access to the scale? You have your fans that will very rigidly defend you in my community, and then you go into the subreddit and you make posts and you sway the way that people think about things.
But I cannot control what you say.
I never said you. Hold on. I never. Hold on. Stop. Why are you saying this? You just stop. I didn't say ever that you control what I say. But we were both just talking about is can we put.
When I say you're
no, that is not the scale. That's not the scale. No, hold on. That is okay. If you want to talk about moderation, you can say.
White people sad. You made the young man walk away. Where's Roserist? We want Roserist. White people sad.
Moderation, but that's not the scale. The thumb on the scale can be a lot of things. Okay, then just say that. Okay, so erase everything that was just said. Okay, so I'm the only one who control moderation, of course, but it's my community, obviously.
Yes, and you use the moderation to define me as an autistic loser.
I don't think I use my community's.
Wait, what did he just say?
Me as an autistic loser.
I don't think I use my community's moderation tools to define you as an autistic loser. I think that there are.
I think you do.
Well, then in that case, I think Forethought can come back, and now at this point reviewing individual bands is going to be hard since he went maximum unhinged mode. But I don't know. I mean, like we can always like go over bands, I guess, in the future, and you can say if it's fair or not. But like.
I don't want to play an active part in the moderation of your subreddit.
You clearly do, though, because you're unhappy with how the moderation style. The moderation style is not going to change in a way that appeases you. It's not. There's not going to be like, okay, Max is right. We need to dramatically change everything. That's not going to happen. There's no world where that happens. So there has to be some active role that you have.
You don't have to think I'm right.
No, but I'm saying like you can have a role, and like I think we should go over this band or that band. Like, oh, fuck, I want to play Factorio, so I'll have those conversations on stream if that's what you want to talk about. Like, I'm fine with that.
No.
Roserist,
hypers. That's just the same thing. You get to chill any agreement with me or any support of me by going full out, literally just banning people because they're fans of me. Then you
that's a recent thing that Forethought is going to be.
You get to play the good guy where I come back and say, well, you shouldn't ban this person. I get to spend 2 hours groveling to you. Well, you say, okay, I guess I'll show mercy to this person and that person. It's a fucking abusive relationship.
It's not an abusive relationship. That is not true. Okay.
It is.
No,
I think
stop.
it is.
You're wrong. It's not.
Well, I'm telling you, I think that you are abusive to your orbiters, and I think it's wrong.
Do you think that it's abnormal for different parts of a community to be moderated in a autonomous way for a Reddit and a Discord? Okay, so then why are you asking for Destiny to change the way that his entire community, like overall, is moderated?
His lead mod hates me and bans people for agreeing with me, and it creates this mold, this muggy, dark, hot, warm area where MrGirl sentiment gets to fester, and then it turns into like, well, my biggest platform on the internet is making this group of people hate me because of the way that they're moderated and because of the way that Steven defines me after I
don't think that's the only reason why people have problems, number one. But number two, it seems like
it's not the only reason. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but
sure. It might be a contributing thing, sure. But I can understand that. But But like the alternative is what? That it has to be like a community that like incessantly like supports you, or it has to be like a MrGirl like stan community?
Absolutely not. I think like there's other communities where people get banned for saying nice things about you, and you routinely mock those communities. And now your community is one where people get banned for saying nice things about me, and we're fucking friends. So it's kind of weird. We're supposed to be allies. We're supposed to be colleagues, and yet you get banned from your community if you say nice things about me.
That was not true. Like, you didn't just get banned just for saying nice things about you. That wasn't true. It was usually because there were just certain people. Now it is, yes. But you're playing a game now where you're trying to make all of the prior bans and everything sound like the same as what changed like one day ago or 2 days ago. That's not true.
The current situation is if you're a fan of MrGirl, you get banned from your community.
That is the current situation, yes.
Yes, and if you're a fan of Destiny and Vosh's community, you get banned for that. And if you're a fan of blah blah blah, it's just another fucking thing, another like as if we're enemies, except we're not. We're friends,
but the difference was that you explicitly announced a war against my subreddit.
Wait, I don't think if you're a Vosh fan, you don't get banned in Destiny's community right now, right?
Yes, and I understand that your mods are using that as cover or an excuse, but all that war meant was I'm making a stand.
I feel like there's probably. I feel like there's indicators similar to like that would probably tell you that this is going to be a temporary thing. This isn't to say that MrGirl is not right in being upset by it, even if it is a temporary thing, though.
You're making a statement confidential. There are people that post.
You get banned from Vosh's community, right? But we're not talking about Vosh's community. I mean, yeah.
Like huge posts about like, hey, like, maybe the way that you're utilizing the subreddit might not be appropriate. And I think you literally responded to no, and that's I think what Forethought banned you for.
That's fine. Yeah, I said no to somebody.
Sure, but I'm just saying like, hold on, but your case is unique. You can't be like, oh, well, this is just like Vosh's subreddit. No, it's not. I never declared war against Vosh's subreddit.
No, you never declare war against anybody. You're the good guy. You just do things that alienate people until they freak out. And most people are not tolerant of conflict, and so they get mad at you.
That was a bold claim.
You get mad at them, and they stop fucking speaking.
I'm surprised Destiny let that slide. I would not let that slide if somebody said that about me, that I just alienate people till they, like,
never declare war against anybody. You're the good guy. You just do things that alienate people until they freak out. And
go back, look at Rose Cam.
Oh,
no! He got guts! Oh, no! He got, dude. Oh, God. Hold up. Let's get the enhance.
That alienate people until they freak out. And most people are not tolerant. So they get mad at you and you get mad at them.
One of us. He got, dude. For anybody who doesn't understand, what sometimes DGG will do is they'll try and bait you into clicking a link. One of the funniest ones is saying that there's porn on the link, or like some hot chick on the link, and to try and get you to click it, and it's just a big bright red a square, so that way everyone can see it right on your face when you click that thing. It's pretty funny. So that's what happened. I don't know what baited him. We could probably check inside of the chat what baited him. I don't want to do that much legwork. Hold up.
No, you never declare war against anybody. You're the good guy.
Rose Wrist, what do you think about this? Dalvius with the big W right here. Dalvius, Rose Wrist, what do you think about this? He's like, Rose Wrist, like, oh yeah, let me check it out. Dalvius, yeah, I'll see. Let me take a look. And it's game over.
And most people are not tolerant of conflict. And so they get mad at you, or you get mad at them, and they stop fucking speaking to you, and then they start betraying you and stabbing you in the back. There's people predicting that I'm going to do that.
He clicked.
People saying that, like, I'm going to start mass flagging you.
Okay. Do you realize that you're engaging in a form of gaslighting here? I can't tell if you know you're doing this or not.
After D creates a monster in his stream laboratory and sets it to loose on the world, it turns around and mauls him. Example number 3840.
Yes, okay.
Do you think I've mauled you?
When you're saying things like, you get to play the good guy, you're implying that I have this, everything I'm telling you is a lie, and I'm constructing this world where I'm actually lying to everybody about why I do the things that I do. I've got a perfect cover so that I always come off as you said good guy. Stop! Don't say no, you said it. It doesn't matter if I know I'm doing it, but I've constructed a world. I didn't say I know, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm gaslighting unintentionally, but that's the implication you're making. This is the whole lot. Yes, okay. You are gaslighting me by saying that. That is not the case. I understand why I moderate my community the way that I do. I understand why I do all the things that I do. And it's not so that I can be the good guy or play the good cop. There are times where I fight with my moderators. I don't know if I fought with Forethought before, but I fought with RTBA over a ton of bans. It's literally a classic thing on my stream. I think that RTBA has almost quit my stream before because of moderating disagreements. And I think Forethought has almost quit moderating my sub because I used to do yearly unbans where I would unban every single fucking person on the sub. We're like, let's start over again because I like unbanning people. And I think Forethought and RTBA were like, if you do this again, we're fucking quitting. So like the idea that I like created this perfect world where I can be.
I would be very, very mad as a mod if. Yeah, I understand Forethought's position on that one, for sure. I would be very upset if my streamer did a yearly unban of everyone. Jesus.
The good guy all the time and offload all of the dirty work onto my Gestapo mods is not true. And when you are implying that I'm doing that, you are literally gaslighting while simultaneously calling me an abuser, which is like one of the worst things that you could do to somebody. If I was a different type of person, it would severely mentally fuck me up. Do you understand that that is what you're doing? You're engaged in that right now.
No, I think that the way you interact with your orbiters is abusive, and I think I'm fine standing by that. I don't think it's one of the worst things you can do to somebody to call them out on abusive behavior. I think if you think that you're being abused, you should say something.
Okay.
Like I don't think the way that you treat your orbiters is fair, or me in particular, and I don't want to be treated like that. So I'm making a stand.
Gotcha. Okay. Rose is like about to stop his like last stream ever, so I want to finish talking to him, and then we can talk about this at a separate point if you want, anytime.
Listen. I have to go anyway. I have to go do my thing.
Okay.
Any final words from anybody?
I still love you.
For me.
We'll chat about this more tomorrow. I'll be streaming, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that like I don't feel that our friendship is. I'm not talking about our friendship. I don't like.
Are you abused? I feel like his implication is supposed to be that you're abused if you're an orbiter if you disagree with him on like very specific high profile shit. And I haven't had very high profile disagreements with Destiny. Yeah. So I couldn't say. I guess he would say I'm still abused because of the idea that if I had a high profile disagreement, then that. But at the moment, no, I don't feel abused.
I love you and I'll continue to love you. It may be that like professionally we have to change things or take a break or something from the way we're working together. But yeah, I have no. It's not personal. It's I mean like I'm upset, but it's not a reflection of how I feel about you, like as my buddy.
Okay, okay.
Woo! Okay. That was a hell of a video. I think I'm gonna try to move forward to have the conversation with MrGirl. I want to look up some of the more context before I do, though. There's still some more stuff I need to take a look at, but I feel like with the image that I have of his response to that Reddit post saying that he was essentially using DGG, or sorry, not DGG, Destiny subreddit as his own subreddit, and the request for him to stop, and him just saying no, I feel like it's, I don't know. I'd have to really address that. I feel like that's the biggest point there, because if he's genuinely saying no to that, like that's what are we gonna do? You know, what are we doing about that? Did you watch the MrGirl No Jumper interview? I did. So you're saying he does not let you have your own opinion? That's exactly what I'm saying. Do you love Destiny? I do not love that man. No, I love Wicked Supreme though. This I love you shit is gross. Wait, why Wicked Supreme? What's up? Stretch, huge stretch. Wait, what's the huge stretch? There are a lot of people who have disagreed with Destiny who don't get shit hard on the subreddit, though. The problem is, I don't know. I don't check the subreddit. I can't make a claim to this effect. I can't sit here and say, you know, Destiny doesn't do this or he does do this. I don't know. I don't check subreddits. I don't do that. That's not what I do. Classic Supreme hates words of affection. It's true. I love you despite saying that, Wicked Supreme. Actually, she got praise. Who? Like the commie girl from the Change My Mind didn't get shit on that hard? Commie girl. We might watch that. What is the premise then? What do you mean? It's a sub for a specific person. You'd be an idiot to think piling wouldn't happen on a fan sub. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's kind of my opinion. That's kind of my opinion, honestly. But it seems like MrGirl's problem more stems with the moderation cracking down than like the subreddit itself cracking down. The Reddit isn't Destiny and Friends, it's Destiny. Sure. Yeah, he has final say on the subreddit. From Max, it feels like it's a way for him to use their interpersonal relationship to get his way with Destiny's business. What makes you say that? Yeah, I guess what makes you say that? Why can't they just be cordial after this? Wicked Supreme put too many points into this Sandura tree. Yes, terrible moderation. MrGirl shockingly is a polarizing creator on the sub. He gets both immense love and immense hatred because his relentlessness can be incredibly annoying. Yeah, I like MrGirl. I think he's an entertaining guy. He's a funny guy. I like watching his content. I think he has some good points, but he 100% is a hit or miss for people. Because he can come off as a asshole. He can come off as a bit of a know-it-all, like the empath meme. I 100% see it. Stuff like that. Tomfoolery, how you doing? Yeah, it seems like he's using the relationship for super special treatment. I see. Because it seems like every time Max is on Destiny's stream, he needs to have a very public conversation on the state of our relationship. I see. It doesn't help. He says most people that don't understand him are stupid. No, Mr. Girl, we get you, and we don't like you regardless. There is an issue I've heard with that. So to the effect of what Tomfoolery and Wicked Supreme were saying, I haven't seen enough of his interactions with Destiny to speak to the truthness or falseness of Wicked Supreme's statement. Tomfoolery. It seems like he's using the relationship for super special treatment. I don't know. So I don't know. It really depends on how Destiny wants to run the sub. So if Destiny wants to run the subreddit in a way that would enable orbiters or whatever, or people generally in the sub to not have their supporters and shit. He wants to run the subreddit in a way. Fuck. I don't know. Maybe I should talk with Destiny about this too, actually. Because I don't fully understand Destiny's position of why he isn't getting involved more with the ban, and like why he feels that it may or may not be justified. Yeah, I don't feel like I know his position that well. So yeah, that's kind of hard. Destiny does not want to run the sub. He wants Forethought to. The problem is, like, I don't know. I think what Mr. Girl is trying to appeal to is he believes that the level of autonomy that Forethought has inside of that subreddit is unjustified, or will potentially isn't congruent with the level of autonomy that Forethought is allowed to have when it comes to other creators besides Mr. Girl. Like, there might be a unique relationship. I don't know, though. Destiny wants Thoughts to run his subreddit. He's down bad. I think Max is 100% asking for special treatment. I'm not sure I well, I don't know. It depends on what your perspective would be, because what I think Max might be asking for here is for the subreddit, or Forethought and moderation of the subreddit and Destiny himself, to specifically uphold an idea that Destiny can be criticized without essentially purging, right? Because I feel like that's what Mr. Girl was trying to imply or say, right? Was that if you get on Steven's bad side, or more specifically, if you critique him to a specific level, that you have the green light to be purged. You got the green light for you to be just completely fucked over inside of any conversation, inside of any posts on the subreddit. And so I would assume that what Mr. Girl would be saying is not only would he apply the standard for Mr. Girl, but also he would apply the standard for other people. I'm assuming that's what he would do, no? He's acting like being an orbiter gives him a mini celeb status or something. I think his point about him being Destiny's friend and him being an orbiter was that I think his point about him being an orbiter in shit was to illustrate that even for his friends or individuals that do content with him, these rules about not being able to criticize Destiny still apply, right? If I'm being as charitable to Mr. Girl's, well, not even charitable, if I steelman his argument, because I do want to ask him about his argument because I don't really know exactly what he was saying. But if I steelman his argument to the best of my personal ability, what he's saying is that As an orbiter, I don't have the ability to criticize Destiny to a specific degree without being purged from the subreddit, without having my supporters being purged from the subreddit, and essentially Destiny winning. Destiny must always win the fights that he chooses to win, or that his moderation team chooses to win, for him to win. If I get Destiny in a vulnerable position and I speak truths in a way that is uncomfortable for him or his moderation team, I will lose, because his subreddit will crack down on any support that I have within that subreddit, as well as me myself. I do not get any special consideration as being a part of Destiny's inner friend group or inner circle. And so this goes to show that nobody's off limits, right? That enemies of Destiny are, fair game, as well as potentially friends are fair game. That if you criticize Destiny to a specific degree, that you and your supporters will be banned and removed. The problem with this theory is, obviously, as we pointed out earlier, you are not banned if you are part of Vosh's community. So I don't think that can work. I feel like the taking the stance of being banned from a subreddit a significant harm. He isn't deleting their whole account, just banning them from one subreddit of millions. I mean, bannings. I think. I don't know. I guess I would agree. I don't know. Is there not a line that can be crossed where you deserve to be banned on your friend's subreddit? To somebody else. Talk with Destiny? I probably will. That Max was part of the criticism that a handful of people did agree with. Nobody is owed a place in a subreddit. I don't think Max is trying to say he's owed a place inside of the subreddit. He's trying to say that if the subreddit is to be fair in the way that Destiny tries to represent himself or hold himself to in other arenas outside of Discord, then he ought to be a part of that subreddit, which I think is a different statement. And it's a statement that I could make. Let's say if I criticize Destiny in a specific way that I think is fair, but misguided or misplaced or something. If that happened, or let's even not assume that it was misguided or misplaced. Let's assume it was completely fair and rational. I deserve to still be able to be a part of Destiny's community. I think that is a fair thing. And the reason why is because Destiny holds himself to a standard where he can take criticism, that he's willing to engage with it, and that he isn't just going to purge it if it comes from a position of good faith. I feel like Destiny has built a reputation that is uphold or that is set to that standard. Can we agree on that? That he has set himself as an individual to that standard. And so I feel some measure of entitlement, because it is entitlement, to having that standard upheld with me in my interactions with Destiny. And I think that is fair. If those standards are not upheld, and there is some kind of unique discrimination, I'm not like because I'm black or anything, but unique discrimination or whatever in this hypothetical, against me, then I would feel justified in saying that's unfair. You understand? It is still Destiny's subreddit. If you start to attack his mods and imply that he's bad faith, then you deserve it. Destiny's the only reason Max has a platform. Anis, I feel like you're not engaging with the point in like a fair manner. I feel like what I said is pretty incontroversial, right? Destiny upholds himself to a standard of which he can take criticism as long as it is good faith, well-founded, even if it is, incorrect or whatever. He has set himself up to that standard. If you are removed for having a discussion with him or asking questions or having a conversation that is good faith, that is founded on good grounds, and you are removed from his subreddit and shit, then I think it is fair for that individual to be mad, upset, and even request that Destiny undo the ban. I think that is a fair statement to have, or fair argument to make on those grounds. Is Destiny allowed to reject it? Of course. But then that would call into question Destiny's integrity as a individual that holds himself to the standard that he can take criticism, as an individual that holds himself to that level of integrity. It would call his integrity in question. I would call his integrity in question if that was the case, right? If Destiny was legitimately, somebody presented me with the evidence and argumentation to show that Destiny was removing posts that were critical of him, that were founded on legitimate grounds, that were founded with good faith argumentation, and he was removing them because it made him look bad, I would be upset with him. I would address that situation to him if somebody provided me that documentation. No, I agree with you. I was trying to type in that stuff before you started talking. Oh, Ennis, I apologize. I assumed that it came after I was done. The issue is that no evidence will change Max's mind. I think it could be possible. Well, hold on. Yeah, I think it could be possible he could be provided some evidence to change his mind. He could see some significant critiques of Destiny still available and up on the Reddit that haven't been purged. I want to have a conversation with him about it. And when I do, I can bring up exactly that, Ennis, which is, hey, Max, what are you looking for to change your mind on this? I can just ask him that point blank, and I intend to. Don't let me forget, though. It's very possible that we get wrapped up in a conversation and I forget to do that. But that's a very basic question. Should honestly be question 1. Should be on the top of the docket. But, yeah, I intend on having a conversation with him about this. It seems like something he's interested in, he's passionate about, and I don't see why we couldn't kick it off. Yeah. Anyway. Destiny has already shown he is accepting criticism by listening to MrGirl here. Yeah, to a degree, necessarily, yeah. Having him on the platform at all, to be able to criticize him for sure. But I don't think MrGirl's point was that he doesn't accept any criticism. It's that he picks, well, he said that he doesn't feel like he's allowed to win or that orbiters aren't allowed to win. But if I'm being as charitable to him as possible, I feel like what MrGirl's point would be is that Destiny chooses his battles that he wins and loses. That he can lose some battles, but he's not going to lose anything critical, right? That's what I hope I'm doing MrGirl a service there, but let me say I'm steel manning his point instead of being charitable to him, because it might just be that he doesn't believe any of that shit. But yeah, so I'll steel man his point and say that, you know, he where was it going with that? Yeah, Destiny picks and chooses his wins and his losses. He chooses to lose battles that are inconsequential to his greater sense of self and his greater perception of self. But when an orbiter comes with a position that is pretty critical to him as a person, like I'm sure MrGirl believed that the Nick Fuentes critique was, he is... that's when he or his moderation team goes into purge mode, and then he acts as though he has a hands-off situation. I imagine that would be what his point would be. It's literally a smart move. Why wouldn't anyone? Wait, I'm sorry, what? But it's a safe business strategy. What is? The same could be said for you too. What about me? I'm sorry, I was talking for quite a bit of time. I don't know when those messages came in, and I just made the mistake of assuming Anish was talking about something that they were not. So I would rather not repeat that. Choosing your fights? Well, I choose my fights, and other people choose their fights. But what MrGirl, I believe, would be accusing Destiny of is choosing his fights with what he wins and loses on his subreddit. So when he feels as though... I believe the accusation is that when an orbiter presents Destiny with a very uncomfortable truth about the extension of Destiny's harm, that Destiny purges, or his moderation team. He allows his moderation team to purge all dissenting opinions, negative opinions, and shit, and they are not allowed to be correct because the history books get rewritten and shit like that on the subreddit. My biggest critique with this is, again, it's not like Destiny's subreddit rules the world. I wouldn't look at Destiny's subreddit as to the validity of whether or not you win or lose an argument in general. You might not be able to win or lose with Destiny's community, maybe. And even still, that's kind of tough because there's still going to be clips, still DGG and shit like that. But whatever. The point is supposed to be that if I, as an Orbiter, present Destiny with an uncomfortable truth about the reality of the pain that he might be causing people, I believe MrGirl's point is that I cannot win because Destiny will choose, that's his fight, Destiny's fight, to choose to purge all dissenting opinions, or his moderation team will purge all dissenting opinions of Destiny. And, but there's other fights that he might lose. Let's say, he loses a fight about his god-awful food takes, but, and he'll let his subreddit roast him into oblivion over the food takes, because those are inconsequential. I think that would be the most charitable interpretation of MrGirl's point. MrGirl request was simply unreasonable. What do you think his request was? That Destiny is failing an openness to authenticity that Max is allowing by being a small. Except the styrofoam cup take. The styrofoam cup take was one of the worst I've seen in a while. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that nigga ordered 1,000 styrofoam cups instead of just getting a blender bottle. I couldn't believe it. It was ethereal levels of weird. I couldn't believe it. Lazy motherfucker doesn't want to wash. I feel like it's like more lazy, or it takes more work to pull out one of the 1,000 cups. Okay. I hope I've made Disney's food takes are the only thing that makes me doubt his sanity. That was funny as fuck. It was hilarious, but it was also like a nightmare. So I hope people understand a little bit better. Unban me and allow me to freely post and advertise on your subreddit as I see fit. Completely ignore. Well, I don't think that's what MrGirl was trying to talk about in this conversation. That's something I want to talk with him about. But I don't think that was his point. His point in here was to say that Orbiters cannot disagree with Destiny on critical issues because dissenting opinions will be purged from the subreddit. So I think that's what his point was, not the advertising on the subreddit thing, because obviously then I would agree, yeah, because advertising on the subreddit is a bit different. Happy that Relly's uploading more on YouTube. Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of people who have been showing me support on YouTube. Like, I have made several different... So right now, we have more likes on this stream than are currently watching the video. There was a lot of people who have been participating in liking the stream and getting the stream out there. And by the way, I'm not sure how many people have been looking at it or keeping eyes on it. When you guys like the stream, might be pure coincidence, but the viewer count does go up as you guys like the stream in bursts. That does happen, right? I don't know if that's a perfect correlation or what, but I do know that YouTube's algorithm very much likes that. YouTube has been pushing, I think they pushed it a lot more earlier, but they still do push really hard for people to watch YouTube streams. They want to push YouTube gaming really hard. And so I think that's what like streams are still under, right? YouTube gaming or whatever. They still want to push that shit pretty hard. So when you guys like the stream, when you guys talk in chat, when you guys comment, sub, and interact with the stream in any way, it absolutely helps the stream get out to more people, to find individuals that may not be endemic to this channel. So it actually helps a lot. And like I said, it makes me very hopeful for the prospects of growth on this platform. They need to work on the interface still. They need to work on so much shit for this, like proper moderation tools. I don't even know how to properly ban people on this. Yeah, so. I just like to stream and the view count went down. Feels good, man. Yes. All they need is the interface. Yeah, they need a better like viewer experience. The viewer experience is not as good as Twitch. 100%, it's not as good as Twitch. The rewind alone is top tier. The rewind is so nice. I love the actual like user experience of the stream, like pausing the stream, rewinding the stream, fast forwarding the stream, and shit like that. So much better. The fact that you cannot rewind a Twitch stream without going to the VOD is absolutely insane. So yeah. I want to say thank you to the people that like that. Clipping is so simple. Yeah, true. They've made strides with clipping on YouTube, and that's pretty recent. The clipping system on YouTube for sure. So yeah, I hope I explained why I think MrGirl has somewhat of ground to stand on. He's not like completely irredeemable or anything like that in my book at the moment. And why Destiny has some ground to stand on here. I don't know the intricacies of this conversation because I feel like a lot of it requires knowledge about his Reddit, of which I do not frequent at all. I could ask my girlfriend, who is far more of a individual that is hands-on with the subreddit. I think that could be potentially helpful, but for me personally, I don't know almost anything. I don't know almost anything about Reddit in general. So yeah. And 2x speed goes hard, yes. MrGirl is energy draining, so I understand why Destiny and folks don't engage anymore. I don't know, I like him. It's so much better to rewind than to make a clip on Twitch or go into the VOD. Yeah. That's why I think YouTube has a lot of potential. I think YouTube does have a lot of potential. I like the fact that I have availability for discoverability on YouTube. I think it is so... It brings hope back to me. Because it felt like on Twitch, I was pretty much just trying to keep the audience that I had. That's what I was trying to do. You know, I was just trying to hold on. Whereas on YouTube, it feels like I have a chance at making something of the channel. 300 likes? Yes, we did just cross 300 likes. You play Played Up? I've not played Played Up, but I actually want to. The only thing that's preventing me is it costs like a fair bit of money, right? I thought it was like $30, wasn't it? Me and my brother wanted to play it. Oh, no. It was $30 for 2 copies. It's $17. Yeah, that's what it was. It's like $17. It's $30. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, me and my brother wanted to play this game together because we played like Overcooked and shit, and we really liked Overcooked, but it wasn't challenging enough. I don't know how challenging Played Up is. It looks pretty intricate, looks pretty nice. So we wanted to play this, but yeah, it's like $30, and we didn't want to, shell out the bucks. Nick 85% not straight. Keep digging, huh? Twitch is fucking dead unless you already have 2 to 5K viewers. It's very difficult without shaking hands. Do you think you would have streamed on YouTube if Destiny never got banned? That's a really good question. Probably yeah, to cover MrGirl's content, but I feel like that's getting away from your question. If nobody I wanted to watch was banned on Twitch, I do not believe I would have started streaming on YouTube. I knew streaming on YouTube was a good idea. I knew I should have done it for a while, but yeah. Also, on top of the fact of that is probably part of the reason why when Destiny finishes his .gg like user whatever thing, so streamers can get a .gg thing going. I am going to obviously be a part of it and do that. And I think a large part of that is because I started streaming on YouTube, because it's going to make streaming on YouTube a lot more organic for the user experience. So instead of saying, hey, everybody on Twitch, go over to my YouTube channel or whatever, I can just tell you to go to my site if you're not already on it, and then it'll just be embedded there. Did you ever see the video of MrGirl talking to Chud about how he could have beat Destiny and Erudite in a debate but chose not to because of childhood trauma? This is the very first time I've ever hearing of that existing. Any reason you don't duo stream when you're on Twitch? No. Oh, I don't think you're allowed to as a partner. Technically. I haven't seen anybody be banned for it, but I don't think you're technically allowed to duo stream. So yeah. This has surprised me that he said that. So you do have this conversation with Max. Would you then allow him to lurk your Discord to be sure that some of the members are speaking positively about him? Yeah, I would let him lurk in my Discord. Wait, what? What do you mean when Destiny finishes .gg thing? Is he building a platform for other streamers? To my knowledge, yeah. I believe he announced that along with his coding team, he is going to be offering, similar to how .gg's platform was open source previously, this time he is providing it at cost to individuals, and I've been wanting one for a while. Don't see why this would stop me now. Worst case scenario as well is if it costs any kind of a significant amount of money, I feel like that'd be a really easy thing to get donos for, to like set up a dono goal for, that a lot of people in my community would just want to support anyway. So yeah, as soon as he gets that thing going, I'll be one of his first customers for sure. I don't see why not. It's been wanting to do it for a while. It only makes sense given the current circumstances. It's going to be Cake providing it, right? I was told that Cake is fundamental to the process. Yeah, I was told that Cake was the head honcho, kind of, in regards to that. So yeah, Cake will be providing that or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I like the products. I want the products. And if he'll allow me to pay for it, I mean, I'll buy the product. I think Destiny website needs to be mobile friendly, because my phone freezes when I hit the big screen and chat. I don't know anything about mobile stuff, but I imagine that would be something that they would want to hear about for sure. And subs on the site would probably take less of a cut, IMO. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if they would do like a upfront cost and then I'd keep all of the money from the subs, because to my knowledge, Disney keeps all of the money from the subs on his site. So I'm not sure if it would work like that. I don't know how the deals are going to work. I don't know if it's going to be a contract thing. I don't know how that's going to work, or if it's just I'm going to pay them money out of my PayPal. I don't know how that process is going to work. All I know is I really want the site. I've been wanting it for a while. I didn't get it while it was free with the open source stuff and stuff like that. And I have no problem supporting Destiny and Cake and shit like that. And in fact, I think it's pretty cool. I think what they provide is a service, and I have no issue paying money for that service, because it genuinely is useful to me as well, especially with me starting YouTube streams. It's genuinely useful. Yeah, 0% is still less than Twitch, of course. You should tell them about it. It might be a specific phone issue. Could be. Imagine Destiny completely undercutting White Nervosa and Vosh comes crawling. Yeah. I hope it's a paid service because the features will be more robust and developed well. That's a part of my thought process as well. If it is a paid service, I feel like there'll be, not only will there be more demand for features, for maintenance and things like that, but there's also like potential bargaining power that I might have for things like, I don't know, if the mobile experience is poor, for me to be able to go like, hey, look, Can we work on mobile experience? Like, what are we looking like that? And then, maybe some of the other customers like me would be able to levy similar things, and then we'd get something going. I don't know if the mobile experience is bad. It was just a kind of a one I jumped off of from chat. Oh shit, you're on YouTube now? Yep, for the moment I'm on YouTube. I've been enjoying it. I would say that I enjoy streaming on YouTube more than Twitch. Long story short, it's just because discoverability feels like it's giving me a chance at actually growing my stream organically and stuff, and I really like that. As much as I am very appreciative and I have love for the people that, various individuals that gave me, a chance and shout outs and raids, love him or hate him, Hassan did really early on give me raids, shout outs, and stuff like that. Obviously, everybody knows my history with Destiny being quite friendly and shit like that, with him raiding me numerous times, speaking highly of me, giving me credit for arguments that I made, which I really wasn't expecting when stuff like that had happened. So that as much as I am appreciative to shit like that, I very much like the feeling of YouTube being able to grow organically in comparison to Twitch, where it feels like I kind of need that to happen. I kind of need people to recognize me as being a guy that makes good arguments and then kind of shout me out in order for me to have growth on Twitch. Whereas on YouTube, it feels like it can be organic. It feels like I do have a fighting chance to kind of do it myself. If you don't stay a liberal, you're going to get kicked off and your website redirected to Biden.com. Yeah, maybe. I'm 10 minutes behind, but I wanted to say I'm very happy to see you are unloading and streaming on YouTube more. I try and like every video and live stream and comment on videos for the algorithm. Thank you. I appreciated that. MDMA. I was going to say MDMA, man, for some reason. MND man. Yeah, the YouTube player is so nice, but I hate the interface in chat. That's why the .gg site is so nice, because you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, pretty much. I think the .gg site is going to be a good addition of that, as well as, getting a full cut of the various different things. It's also just nice to have a place that is a hub. So if, various different things are down, I could be able to, work out there. How weren't you more popular? Having 300 plus viewers in your old morning slot was pretty much the biggest besides Mike from PA. I think there was several issues with what I did that prevented me from having growth. One, inconsistent to non-existent presence on YouTube. I think a large part of other people's growth was their presence on other platforms, because it's a thing that people on Twitch constantly say, which is, exactly what I've said, which is you maintain on Twitch, you grow off of Twitch, right? So you grow on YouTube, you grow on Instagram, you grow on Twitter, right? I think the sister Keffels grew quite a bit off of Twitter, right? And then that kind of organically moved into her streams. You grow off of Twitch, you maintain on Twitch. That's how it works, right? So, yeah, I feel like that's where I'd be at. I know you can grow on Twitch through doing various certain things, but the things that you have to do are kind of weird. So I know that growth is possible if you're at the top of a section on Twitch. The problem is being at the top of a section is very difficult if you're not like a multi-K Andy, or at least of a section where, you can have significant growth, right? Like, I don't know, if I was like a 2 or 3K Andy, where I could see growth might be at the top of, what is it, the game Marauders or something recently came out that people were watching, maybe doing that. At specific times, maybe playing Path of Exile or something, and then being the top streamer in that section. Being the top streamer in a category can get you organic growth. But it's pretty much the rich get rich, right? Didn't YouTube have exclusive emotes with membership? I think so. Twitch is pure capitalism, Madge, yes. Booksmarts was hounding you to make YouTube content years ago. Booksmarts was literally ahead of the curve on YouTube shit before anybody else was, so. I mean, that's just true. Streaming on YouTube makes it easier to produce YouTube vids instantly. Yeah, it does. It makes it quite a bit easier. If you play unknown games, you can easily be the top streamer. Yeah, the problem is if you play unknown games, I mean, not very many people are going to find you, right? I could be the top streamer for Scrutinized right now, which is a really great game made by Reflex Studios, same people who made Welcome to the Game. I could be the top streamer for that game right now if I wanted to. The problem is 5 people are going to watch that game. So, yeah. Also, you know, a lot of people who typically watch me are not going to watch that stream because they don't want to watch that game. When are you going to be the top streamer in the 10 dogs category and beat Gappy's speedrun world record? Well, I don't want to upset Gappy, so I'm refusing to do that, but I could if I wanted to. So, there's that. Yeah. Play GTA San Andreas. People who watch that shit is crazy. If you play, they will watch it. There are some insulated communities that are pretty weird or shit like that. I feel like a lot of those communities are run by speedrunners, though, and I couldn't speedrun. I feel like speedrunning a game would make me insane. Literally, I think it would cause me insanity, psychosis. I was the top Tekken streamer and didn't even realize, and I don't think it got me a single regular viewer. There you go. And Tekken is popular. Do you believe you will have to change up your presentation on stream, brighter lighting, things like that? So people have already suggested things like that, and I was actually going to reach out to very specific people about stuff like this. The answer is yes. I was going to reach out to some specific people. Wicked Supreme, actually, funnily enough, with him being in the chat, was going to be somebody that I was going to talk to in the near future about doing shit like that, because he has an understanding of how to do at least I know he's got audio and shit pretty well handled, if I remember correctly. Wicked Supreme, you're big into the audio shit, and you have a good setup for the camera and shit like that. But I know I wanted to talk to Wicked Supreme about making improvements there. I was probably going to talk to Rhizome as well about making UI improvements, because I think there are some UI improvements that I would want to make, and it's actually, I would want to make very similar moves to Rhizome in regards to the UI stuff. But I don't want to step on his toes, though. That's kind of made me self-conscious. It's because Rhizome's aesthetic for his stream is very similar to what I would have ideally wanted for mine, but I don't want to step on any toes. So yeah, there's individuals that I've looked at that I'm like, you do shit well. Can you help me emulate? So yeah. Just a reminder that you have your base ready, clips, VODs, highlights. Oh, to have your base ready for what? People are doing streaming and not having those are deemed to fail. Oh, I see. Tekken is popular. Copium. I think he was saying was. I'm the top Factorio streamer. Really? Oh, well, tomfoolery. Oh, yeah. Top Factorio streamer, are you? Erudite specifically said your lighting was bad. I was just getting roasted by people, IRL, okay? I don't know. People say my lighting is bad. I don't know what to do about my lighting. I really don't. So I don't know what to do. I'm kind of scrambling, so it is what it is. I gotta ask people. I don't know how to do it. I don't have much desk space. I don't have much outlets or sockets to be able to use. So I have a very limited situation. I also think I have limited power out of my outlets as well. So simple circle light. I have a simple circle light. It's literally what I'm using. The problem is it apparently isn't good. Call her a no, I'm not doing that. That's sexist. What to do? Buy a light? I have a light. Scrutinized was so based. It was, Haunt. You like Scrutinized? That's a base take. Make it darker, wear a hoodie, cloak, light a candle. Yeah. I think I like that. The next low tier god, I don't have the comedic genius that LTG brings to the table, I'm afraid. Ring lights don't do shit on non-white people, IMO. I mean, I could change the thing or whatever, but it's going to make me look weird because of the shit. This ring light allows me to change the color of the light, so. At least Ahrelevant's closet has a window, true. You gotta get a big ass light up Ahrelevant sign. I don't know how custom I can get with a light, but I would love to have my symbol and then the 0 sitting right there behind me. I think that would be a phenomenal thing to have sitting behind me. Would be my symbol and then the 0 behind me. I think that would be really nice. So yeah. Handle ideas based. Be the next DSP. Yeah. That would be fucking base. Yeah, the problem is I don't know how to do that. Like I don't know if it's logistically possible. So yeah. You need more indirect light. You only have hard key light right now. You need filler light for the background IMO. I don't know what the fuck that means, nigga. The symbol is gonna make less sense if you move away from Twitch. Yeah, but I think it's pretty universal. But I agree. I agree that it's gonna make less sense. But I don't know. I think it'll be universal enough. Are you full-time streamer now? I don't know what your background is. Yep. I've been a full-time streamer pretty much the entire time I've been streaming. And that's literally because I have like non-existent expenses. Ever since I've been going to the gym, though, my expenses have increased dramatically. But for a sense of it, I spend between $6,000 to $8,000 a year on all of the expenses I have. Why isn't your ring light around the camera? Because I can't put it around the camera. It didn't work. Like the mount to put it there doesn't work. So yeah. Also, I feel like the angle is weird. So yeah, my expenses per year have gone up a little bit because of exercising. Not a little bit, actually, quite dramatically. I guess, but maybe for most people it's not seen as dramatic. From $6,000 to $8,000 a year, I calculated that roughly going to the gym is going to cost me $3,000 more per year between me and my brother. So our expenses went from $6,000 to $8,000 to roughly $9,000 to what would that be? $11,000. So yeah. We need to buy Ahrelevant a studio. No shot. Just look up a basic ass 3-point lighting tutorial. Yeah, I probably should. If you have white walls, you can bounce it off the wall behind your monitor. Might not be bright enough, though. It's definitely not bright enough. Senpai Gaming has good tutorials that are cheap for your setup. You could probably do that. I know Custom Neon Signs does neon signs, and the symbol is simple enough. You'll probably get made. I don't know, though. If you actually think that, can you link it to me, Haunt? Can you link it in Twitch chat? Do you see the ads on Twitch? Do you use ads on Twitch to boost income? No, but I probably should. I should when I leave my computer. The problem is I typically don't stream for long enough where I even leave my computer once. Usually a 4-hour stream, I leave my computer maybe once. At most twice per stream. A custom neon sign probably will run a few hundred. We'll see how much it costs. That's what we'll see. I could try to fundraise it as well, like dono goal it. That could be something to. I think that would be a fun little thing to do. I don't have an outlet for it though. That's the problem. All of my outlets are pretty much taken. My Discord, not yours. You can get fake LEDs, my Discord, not yours, that look like neon for way cheaper. Fake, my Discord yet again. Fake LEDs? I Discord again. Holy shit. Fundraise for an outlet? Yeah, just gonna get it in another outlet installed instead of my fucking wall, dude. I don't know how much that costs. Any electricians in chat? Probably not like a ridiculous amount of money. It's probably what, a couple $100 to do that, I imagine. Yeah. So yeah, it's probably not outrageous. You can get splitters. Yeah, I can get a fucking extension cable with like more shit with splitters or whatever shit. But the problem is my outlets are weird. I don't have much power coming to my room, so I have very limited availability to just kind of plug more shit in. You know what I'm saying? More likes than viewers. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean we're at the tail end of it. We've been paused on the main content for quite a bit of time. So yeah, I'm just kind of shooting the shit with people in chat right now. I probably will sign off like here in a second though, because I got shit I need to do, and by that I pretty much just mean sleep, because I need to be able to go do it yourself, you lazy Lazar. Couple hundred sounds right. Power strips, yeah. It's like extension cables, right? What the fuck does it mean when you say my Discord, not yours? It means that when you hear a Discord ping, oh, can you not hear the Discord ping anymore? Oh, you guys probably can't hear the Discord ping anymore. Yeah, you guys probably can't hear that anymore. No? Yeah. All right, well, that's what it usually means. Is I would get like a Discord ping, and it would sound like a Discord notification. I would say my Discord, not yours, and it would let you know that it was my Discord and not yours. I am literally going to intentionally turn on the Discord notification to every stream, so that way I can keep that meme alive, because it's a staple. Just drill a hole in your wall. Nice. All right. I don't know how to raid on this godforsaken website. Don't really think that you can, but I'm going to go ahead and go. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I want to thank everybody for liking the stream. As you can see, there's more likes than viewers by quite a margin. 327 likes currently on the stream. So a lot of you liked the stream. A lot of you, even those who didn't stay, liked the stream, which is significant. Thank you. And again, to anybody who doesn't know the significance, it really boosts the algorithm and allows new people who are not native to potentially even politics at all. Some people that might not even know who Destiny is, definitely don't know who I am, might not know who MrGirl is, can get these suggestions as this being a stream that they might like. And if they click, they might find out they enjoy the content. And that is all because people decide to push a like on the stream. That is the only reason why that happens. People, well, like, and then people chatting inside of the stream, people subbing during the stream and shit like that is what tells YouTube, hey, some other people might like this kind of content, which is, it means a lot to me. It really does. I don't feel like I can properly communicate how much that matters to me, because it like I said previously, it really makes me hopeful for potential growth into the future. And maybe it's arrogant, maybe it's misguided or optimistic, but yeah, it feels good, at least right now. My Discord, not yours. It's a habit. I'm live. It's a habit. Even though you can't hear it, it's a habit. You have to believe me when I say that shit, that the ping happens. So yeah, I will see y'all later. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate that. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what content I'm going to be covering. But in like 36, like in like 30 hours or something, I'm probably going to be talking to Lavloon. So I have that set up. I don't know when MrGirl would be willing to have a conversation. Maybe he'll talk tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk another time. But so I have that kind of set up. And yeah, we'll figure it out. Bye, sir. Thank you, Jacob, for the 449 pounds. I appreciate that on the way out. So yeah, thank you to everybody. I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Much love. See you later.